Matlanga Commission and now face criminal charges, although most of those cases come from matters unrelated to the Commission. Mokgotsi is battling to secure bail following allegations he attempted to bribe the investigating officer and provided police with a false home address and failed to disclose his previous convictions. His lawyer, William Sekhaja, put down the bribery allegations to an honest misunderstanding. The state, however, maintains his release is not in the interest of justice and says if the court is inclined to grant him bail, it should be set at a steep 100,000 rand. Timakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
Senior Hawks official Gavin Jacob is expected to continue with his testimony at the Matlanga Commission today. He admitted during his appearance yesterday that he did not follow proper procedure in handling a major drug bust in Durban. His testimony was about the operation which he headed in 2021, where police intercepted a shipping container carrying 541 kilograms of cocaine. The drugs were stolen from the Hawks offices in Port Shepstone a few months later. Tabiso Koba has more.
During cross-examinations yesterday, Gavin Jacob made a number of admissions. He conceded to not informing his direct commander he was coming out of leave to work on the drug bust. He also conceded that he made a number of misrepresentations in his investigation diary when he said custom officials and members from the Operational Response Service were part of the operation.
Are you even bound by the national instruction applicable to drug seizures, DPCI?
Yes, definitely. The national instructions apply to the police holistically.
Now, sitting here today, focusing only on what you have covered with Advocate Sillo, up to the point where you take the drugs out of the containers, can you say to us that you complied fully with that national instruction?
Honestly, no, Commissioner. No. I haven't complied fully.
Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
The Western Cape government has pledged its support to police efforts to bring those responsible for the deadly attacks on Mozambican nationals in Mossel Bay to justice. 2 Mozambican men were killed during violence linked to protests against undocumented foreign nationals on Friday. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
Premier Ellen Windy says concerns about weaknesses in South Africa's immigration system can never be used to justify violence. He says those who break the law must face the full might of the law.
We've said to the police that we will make available our resources to make sure that we quell any uprising. We must make sure that we deal with this properly and decisively.
Windy says the rule of law must always prevail and has called on residents to treat everyone with dignity and respect. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
And there's been heavy gunfire in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, as former Prime Minister Hassan Ali Khayre says he has been attacked by government forces. Khayre says an attack was launched by forces commanded by the president whose term has expired. He says President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud should bear full responsibility for yesterday's violent attack on consultative meetings. Somalia has fallen into yet another political crisis after Mohamud announced that his term had been extended for a year after it was due to expire last month. The opposition and regional leaders have rejected the move, leading to demonstrations. Gold is trading at $4,069.38 an ounce. The rand is at 16.32 to the dollar, 21.91 to the pound, 18.95 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $96.90 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between Marlborough Drive and the Baku interchange. That's due to an accident there. Please be on the lookout. And then traveling on the N3 North, we've got more delays just as you approach the Geldenes interchange. That's due to roadworks.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 19 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Self-proclaimed political fixer Brian Mokgotsi is expected to know today if his application to be released on bail was successful after he spent 3 weeks behind bars.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Good morning. Goeiemorgen. Bonjour. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. Good to be back with you this morning on this beautiful Thursday morning, the 4th day of June. I hope you're well this morning and that your week is going well so far. So what are we talking about on the 702 open line this morning? Give us a call on 011 883 0702. If you want to send a WhatsApp, you can do so on 072 702 1702. If you're watching on YouTube, please, you can comment there as well. I will read your contributions on the YouTube page. So, I would like us to have a discussion this morning about herbal medicine, or maybe what you want to call traditional medicine. There's a story in the Sowetan newspaper this morning about the University of Johannesburg. There's a study that they have done which found that stigma and fear prevent many South Africans from telling their doctors about their use of traditional medicines. In fact, one doctor who was interviewed for this research described a case involving an infant who became seriously ill after receiving a traditional remedy, and the child's mother repeatedly denied using traditional medicine during treatment, but later admitted that she had done so, and she was explaining that she was afraid because the doctor appeared angry, and that's why she was not honest to begin with. So the child eventually recovered, thank goodness, after spending time in intensive care. The research, though, is what I'm more interested in, because it suggests that patients often fear negative reactions from healthcare professionals. There's a traditional healer, in fact, who's argued that traditional medicine continues to be associated with stereotypes, including perceptions that it is linked to witchcraft or, demonic practices. And as a result, some patients worry that doctors will ridicule or judge them if they disclose their use of traditional remedies. And yet, this non-disclosure can actually create health risks, because traditional medicines may interact with prescribed or over-the-counter medicines, and healthcare providers need accurate information about everything a patient is taking to make safe treatment decisions. I want to ask you, though, this morning, if you use traditional medicine or herbal medicine, and do you feel open and comfortable to disclose that use? Do you find that there is stigma associated with traditional medicine? Because I honestly think there is still stigma. I mean, look around. If you found someone taking some herbal medicine, some traditional medicine, are you instantly going to just think, oh, okay, that's just part of them trying to deal with whatever ailment they have? Or do you look at them suspiciously? It's crazy that this still happens to this day, that there are certain people who are even scared to disclose or be open and transparent about herbal medicines that they use or traditional medicines they use, because they fear the stigma and the suspicion that will come from people, because they think, that's demonic, or umuti, this is part of witchcraft. And if you're a healthcare professional as well, I wonder if you struggle to get patients to disclose their traditional medicine use. Share your thoughts with us, please, on 011 883 0702. The WhatsApp line is 072 702 1702. Do you still use traditional or herbal medicine? And how transparent and open are you about it? Or do you still sort of keep it secret because you know people will be weird about that. And honestly, in my experience, from what I have seen, a lot of people are still weird towards people who use herbal medicine or traditional medicines. Um, I'm not sure why, but that is the case. So that's the first question I'm asking you. And I wonder, when you have an ailment or if you're sick, do you just use traditional or herbal medicine, or do you sometimes, when you go, for instance, to see a doctor and there's medicine that's prescribed, or you go to a public hospital, there's medicine that's prescribed, do you then sometimes sort of supplement that with your own herbal or traditional medicines? Huh? How does it work? 011 883 0702. I'm interested in your experiences on WhatsApp as well, on 072 702 1702. I also want us to have a conversation on the open line this morning about what happened in Parliament yesterday. So, the Portfolio Committee on Police raised alarm yesterday about the failure by various professionals, including social workers and teachers, to report statutory rape. So, this committee heard from the SAPS officials who stated that despite statutory rape being a mandatory reporting offense, significant levels of underreporting continue, which means that officials who are legally required to report these cases are simply not doing it. I mean, one of the things the committee heard yesterday was that between 2020 and 2025, nearly 1,900 statutory rape cases were withdrawn. And the committee says SAPS members who allow that to happen are acting against their own instructions. Listen to what Leanne Mateis, who is a member of the EFF in Parliament, said yesterday in that committee.
The statutory rape matter cannot be reduced to family and friends and neighbors opening cases. The truth of the matter is, Deputy Minister, that these kids are falling pregnant, the children in particular. So let's park the matter of those that don't result in pregnancy. Those kids give birth, they attend government schools, they attend clinics, and they give birth in public hospitals. Their primary respondents in government is firstly the Department of Education, government. The second is the Department of Health, where they would give birth, or even go for prenatal care for those who actually do. But there's actually a long list of kids that go to the Department of Health. They utilize the clinics for prenatal care before they even get to the hospitals, Deputy Minister. The third one is the Department of Social Development, because those kids can't leave the hospital without having engaged with the social worker. So when we come here and we use culture, when we use that families are not protecting the children, let's park that. What is the government doing? Because these kids are encountering, those that are pregnant are encountering all the government institutions that are not doing anything about it.
Yeah, honestly, this really shocked me. I mean, I already know about families that hide these kind of cases when it's children that are being raped. But for professionals to do that? I mean, that's not to say what the families are doing is right. We've spoken about this before, how toxic some families are. They're more concerned about keeping the unity of the family and not embarrassing the family than actually seeking justice and ensuring that the person who has violated that child is not going to do it to the next child. And I wonder if you think we take statutory rape seriously enough in this country. And if you have ever been in a situation where you knew about a case where there's a child that was raped, or there's an adult who somehow convinced someone much younger than them to have sexual intercourse with them, what did you do about it? Did you report it? Because families sometimes hide these cases. But when there are professionals that are involved in these cases, why would they not report the matters? I just don't get it. And it's sad because this is us failing these young people whose lives are dramatically going to change because of that violation. Let me know your thoughts. 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Hanging Out feature. And I'm excited today because we're hanging out with comedian and actor Desmond Dube. He is one of the most warmly recognized faces in South African entertainment. I mean, he's moved from community theater to an Oscar-nominated film to Netflix, having started performing in community theater at the age of 12. And we're going to get to know him better today between 10 and 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Thursday dialogue, and today we'll be focusing on the constitutional principles behind the Phala Phala saga. The matter is now in court, as you know, via the President's review application of that Section 89 report. The matter is also being dealt with in Parliament through an impeachment committee. What I want us to do, though, at 11 o'clock is unpack and simplify some of the legal and constitutional concepts which have been a topic of discussion in respect of the Phala Phala issue, such as the interim interdict, the judicial review, the impeachment process, the role of the speaker, but also the PRECA criminal violations, etc. And who best to do this with than a man who was personally involved in all the EFF Zuma cases, which led to the Phala Phala judgment. So Advocate Dalimpofu will be joining me after 11 o'clock. And I want you to call in and ask questions about some of the legalities around this issue. So that's what we'll be discussing on our Thursday dialogue today at 11 o'clock. Don't miss it. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Tsapo, you calling us from Soweto. Good morning.
Morning, how are you, Clement?
Kimnat, wena?
Number one, man, I wanted to touch on this issue, the use of traditional medicine.
Yeah.
Versus the Western medicine. Yes, there is no secret building magic. The use of traditional medicine is stigmatized. But I think it also calls for a widespread dialogue around that issue, because we've westernized everything. Now I'll tell you about me. I do use traditional medicine. You understand? And in Western medicine, understand the Western medicine, the very same, traditional medicine that we use. So it can be correct that because now this process, it came with the West, it has now been scientified. We must look away from our traditional way of doing things.
Yeah.
Understand? And also this talks to before the Western medicine,
exactly. They were using the very same herbal medicine that we're looking at, frowning at. But here's the thing, Tsapo. What I've picked up is that, I remember someone referring me to, we've just lost Tsapo there. What happened? But what I wanted to say there is, I remember someone asking me to go get something for them at this particular shop, and it's a herbal shop, like it's herbal medicine. But I was interested in how, quote unquote, westernized even that kind of herbal medicine is, where it's really herbal and traditional medicine, but it's packaged in a way that sort of, quote unquote, and for lack of a better phrase, like sort of gives you the confidence that this is like safe and, you can trust it, right? Because there are certain people who, yes, want to use herbal medicine or traditional medicine, but they are still uncomfortable about just its origins and how it's sourced, etc. So when it's packaged in that manner, somehow that builds some level of trust. And really, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. So what do? Do you use it? Do you not? Do you sometimes go to the doctor and then you get home, you supplement that with your own herbal remedies? How does it work? And how do you avoid the risks that could be associated with that supplementation and using Western medicine in conjunction with traditional medicine. Dr. Hlongwane is calling us from Johannesburg. What are your thoughts, Dr. Hlongwane? Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, fascinating discussion. Let me just inform you about this.
Mm.
You see, more often than not, the background plays an absolute critical issue in this important information. As a doctor, you get trained in clinical pharmacology. So there's pharmacodynamics, kinetics. So all those principles, they're actually more modernized version of what traditionally people used to use. Let's say take a pinch of this. I'll give you an example. I hope a lot of doctors are listening because, pharmacology is a traveling subject of medical school, which is a fact.
Mm.
This is the point. They'll say to you, when I'm calling Clement, or ask your predecessors, they'll tell you about it.
Mm.
It's a herbal root, like a bulb, actually. In the Department of Pharmacology, actually, what they used to do, they used to invite traditional healers from the surrounding area to the medical school. I came from Medunza.
Mm.
So what actually happened in the department, those people will be asked, what pinch of what do you use to treat what ailment? And then the department, actually, what we used to do is we do a quantitative and a qualitative analysis of the substances and work out the dosages. And more often than not, realize that the traditional healers actually had it spot on.
Mm.
Which actually irrevocably goes to the question the gentleman was talking about.
Mm.
It's just a question of, look, I'll put it this way. Conventional people, especially in South Africa, there's been so much corruption in terms of mental subjugation. People more often think like, oh, this is Chinese, it's right. But this is my grandfather, there's something wrong with it.
Mm.
Which is completely off. So those dosages, if you dealt with chemistry, before I studied medicine, I studied a BSc degree in chemistry.
Mm.
So chemical analysis, instrumentation, it's my jurisdiction. So I was able to work out quickly, easily that our forefathers actually used the same regimen.
Mm.
Some will tell you that they had an aura. Like if you ask your traditional community, they dream about herbs and they go pick it up the mountain up there.
Mm.
And they more often than not, they bring the correct regimen to give to a child who's sick at a small subliminal dose. Like the difference is the distinction between modern science. I don't like it when people say it's European. It's not.
Mm.
It's conventional. Traditionally, even Europeans, they used herbs before. So herbs, traditional medicine, the medicine which, if evaluated in a laboratory today by Pfizer or whoever, it's the same thing. So let me just make it more interesting for you. Like, for instance, we had COVID, right?
Mm.
So I'll tell you now, I'll stick my head out to inform you about actually what happened. The vaccines, if you look at the internet documentation, the vaccines that were produced, pushed by whatever narrative, because these viruses, like the COVID virus, it was made in a lab in Wuhan. You can have a lot of postulates about it, because there was a study from the U.S. that was funding those guys in the lab in Wuhan to try and see if they take those normal bat coronaviruses, they're normal from the case. If they try and attenuate them biochemically, like switch them off, twist them around, manipulate them in the lab, can they be pathogenic? That was the issue, Clement.
Mm. Got you. Yeah, Dr. Hlongwane, thank you so much for your contribution. Let's hear what the other listeners think. Let's go to Mac, who's calling from Garankuwa. Mac, what do you think?
Hi, Clement. How are you?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm a pharmacist calling from George Mukari. So, few things that I need to indicate concerning herbal medication. Number one, I agree with Dr. Hlongwane in almost everything that he said. Firstly, our patients don't disclose to us when they are taking herbal medication. And when they go and get herbal medication, they don't disclose to the herbalist that they are taking medication from the hospital. So the challenge that we're experiencing is interaction, as you earlier said. So most of the time, we only pick up when they complicate and under questioning. That's why they disclose that, no, Ning, I've taken this and that. And then that's why we pick up that could be the cause. So the other challenge that we're having is that some of our patients, they buy herbal medication from the street. And most of those herbal medications that they are buying from the street are not really in good conditions. Number one, the storage conditions of such medications, because they are just on the street, have an effect on the effectiveness of the medication. Even if the herbal drug that could have been bought from the street was in a good condition, because of the storage conditions exposed to these drugs, they end up causing harm to our patients. So my advice to the patient is that, firstly, know your condition. There are very sensitive conditions like cardiac conditions, whereby if a patient is a cardiac condition, there are medications which they are taking which are extremely sensitive. We call them the narrow range medication. So meaning that they can be affected by anything. One of the example of such drug is what is called warfarin. So what happens is it doesn't allow you to take anything that will interact with it, because it will affect the blood. So it's either the blood may clot or you may bleed. So my advice is, if patients are taking herbal medication, they must disclose to their medical professionals. Or if the herbal professionals are fair enough, they also need to ask these patients, if you are buying this thing, what are you taking? What is your condition? What are you taking it for? It shouldn't be only about money. So those are the challenges that we are having. So normally we advise our patients to speak out. If they've taken anything, actually they are supposed to even ask before they even take such medications.
Got you. Yeah, and I guess it also depends on the attitude of a doctor, because some of these patients are scared to disclose it because, the doctors maybe have a particular posture towards traditional or herbal medicine. So they're just thinking, I'm just going to keep it to myself. But if we have got doctors like, Dr. Hlongwane, yourself as a pharmacist who understand this, then the doctors must be more open-minded so that they're able to facilitate a more honest and transparent conversation with the patients. Nobantu, you're calling us from Johannesburg. What do you want to say about statutory rape, this issue that was ventilated on yesterday in Parliament?
Clement, good morning. I want to come to the defense of social workers, because some of them are really, really trying to report these cases, but they're coming up against a brick wall in the police system. So I want to give you two accounts, not word of mouth. These are social workers that I have worked with that have spoken to me about their personal experiences. The one, there was a young girl, primary school, she was being sexually assaulted by her biological father. The mother reported it to the family, and the family said, well, if the father gets locked up, what are we going to eat? So you must just be thankful that this is not happening to somebody else's child. The mother then the school then called the social worker in, because the child was describing to her friends what her father was doing to her, and she didn't realize that this was all abnormal. So the teachers then called in the social worker. The social worker came. She was told the situation. She went to look for the father. He was a taxi boss. She went to find him at the taxi rank, called into a meeting at the school. The father arrives into the meeting room, puts his gun on the table, and he says, let's talk. This is now trying to intimidate the social worker. So she carries on and she explains, this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to open a case against you, which he duly did. Then the taxi guy went and got his friends in the police force to squash the docket or lose it. When she found out, she went back and she said, I'm going to go and report at another police station in a different jurisdiction where hopefully you don't have buddies. And that's how this little girl was able to get justice. So do you see the length that the social worker had to go to get this thing through? That's one social worker. Another one I met at the teen pregnancy in Daba last year at the Birchwood Hotel. She's operating in Alexander. And she was telling me that exactly what you were saying. Things happen in the school, and then when she then finds out and goes to the police to try and lay a case, the police will say to her, no, the parent of the child must come. How does the parent of the child come and report themselves? So these are some of the challenges that social workers are facing when they try and deal with this matter of statutory rape.
Yeah, and Nobantu, thank you so much for bringing that aspect up here as well, because, I can only understand how frustrating that can be. because there are certain social workers who definitely do report these matters, but there are hurdles before them. And I'd like to hear from some social workers out there or any other professionals who often deals with statutory rape cases. How do you take them forward? It cannot be that we've got professionals who are not reporting these cases, because if you place that responsibility solely on the families, forget it. Their families will always take decisions in the interest of those families. And sometimes those are not in the interest of the child who has been violated. It's 9:32. Sfiso has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Senior Hawks official Gavin Jacob is expected to continue with his testimony at the Madlanga Commission today. He admitted during his appearance yesterday that he did not follow proper procedure in handling a major drug bust in Durban. His testimony was about the operation which he headed in 2021, where police intercepted a shipping container carrying 541 kilograms of cocaine. The ANC in Parliament says it won't stop its practice of calling officials to its study group meetings despite the DA laying a complaint with the Public Service Commission. UDM leader Bantu Olomisa also complained to Speaker Thoko Didiza about the practice, but ANC Chief Whip Mtumseni Ntuli says the complainants are misguided about the purpose of the practice. He insists there is nothing untoward about having top officials explain matters to ANC MPs ahead of portfolio meetings in Parliament. And President Ramaphosa is hosting his Kenyan counterpart William Ruto at the Union Buildings in Pretoria today. The state visit is expected to strengthen bilateral relations between South Africa and Kenya, two of Africa's largest economies. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in Calvin, we've got that major accident seen on the N3 North. It happened right near the Baku interchange. Delays coming out of Marlborough Drive. Marlborough Drive in itself is backed up towards the N3 turnoff as a result. If you are traveling in Bedford View, we've got queuing traffic on the N12 West. This is just as you approach the Kilulis interchange. And then another accident reported on the N3 North near Van Buren Road. It's causing delays from the Geldenes interchange. If you are traveling in four ways, please be on the lookout for some delays along Winnie Mandela Drive. This is between Witkoppen Road and Leslie Avenue. In the city of Tshwane, some issues along the R80 East Mabopane Highway approaching Eskiam Pahlele Drive, and then we've got roadworks taking place along the N1 North as you approach Sefako Makhato exit. I'll have more updates at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Smart Steve from Momentum, hello.
How's it, But? It's Jason here, your favorite gymfluencer.
Jason, still lifting more than your selfie stick?
Always, But. Got to stay shredded, eh? But I'm worried about one thing. What if a major illness hits? Who's got my back?
Relax, Jason. Momentum's critical illness cover is your spotter. It offers the most comprehensive cover in the market.
Buddy, I'm signing up faster than I could do 10 reps. But I'm worried about something else, eh?
Let me guess. How many protein shakes it takes before you turn into the incredible bulk?
No, man. Will anyone notice if I skip a leg day?
Chat to your financial advisor about Momentum's critical illness cover. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Still shopping around for a saving here and a deal there? Choose Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket, and save on deals like Lancewood cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for $139.99. Surf Fruit 100% fruit juice blend, 1.5 litre, any two for 89 Rand. And Omo Auto liquid detergent 2 litre or capsules 20 per pack, any two for 200 Rand. Valid until 7 June, only at Checkers.
John, have you seen? Filing season dates have been announced.
I did, and I can't wait to be done.
Well, for now, all you need to do is log on to e-filing or the SARS Mobi app. Update your personal and banking details, then check and note your filing dates. That's it.
Make tax matters your priority #1. Unlock the power of done. Go to sars.gov.za. SARS, at your service.
We could tell you we're the best bank in Africa, but if you're a CEO or CFO looking to scale, you'll want the numbers. Like that 350 of Africa's corporates bank with us, that 80% of its billion-dollar corporates trust us with their business, and that our systems process 300 million Rand a minute. That's 430 billion Rand every day. Grow with the bank that does big numbers. Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
My name is Richard Sutton, and I'm the host of the podcast Shift Happens. This podcast is about you, about transformation, elevation, and becoming the best version of yourself. Each episode shares powerful, hard-won lessons from prominent South Africans who have faced doubt, change, and early failure and emerged transformed. Don't miss Shift Happens, the tools, insight, and skills to help you navigate the real realities of life. Now streaming on primemediaplus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
23 minutes before 10 o'clock. This is a 702 open line. We are taking your calls on 011-883-0702. You can send your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. On YouTube as well, you can send us your comments there on the 702 YouTube page if you're watching and listening to the show at the same time. I've been asking you about herbal medicine, or if you want to call it traditional medicine. Do you use that, and do you feel open to disclose that use, whether to the doctors or to the friends around you? Because there are people who still fear stigma, right, that is associated with the use of herbal medicine or traditional medicine. What's your experience? Please share that with us. But also, this is an issue that's concerning me, and it was discussed in Parliament yesterday. There are increasing cases of officials, including social workers and teachers, who are failing, and the police, who are failing to report statutory rape cases. And I know that there are instances where social workers or even teachers try to do it, but there are hurdles in front of them. But equally so, there are also cases where some of these professionals simply look the other way for whatever reason. And I'm asking, at what point are we going to take statutory rape seriously enough in this country? Because we've got families that still put the interests of those families first. They don't want to expose the family. They don't want the father to be jailed because he's the only one working. So they would rather just bury the issue and the child will just be strong. It cannot be how we raise our children. And it happens a lot in families where they hide these cases. But for professionals to also be involved in hiding these cases, that's a bit of a shocker and something concerning to me. So we're taking your calls and your WhatsApps on that as well, on 072-702-1702.
Good morning, Clement. You are shocked that professionals don't report. Do you know that there are teachers who impregnate children and then make an agreement with their children's family members to pay something like 3,000 rands a month so that then they can keep the case, unreported? This is so bad. It's really bad. What I know for sure is that psychologists, social workers, when they don't report this, it's an offense in their counsel. So they are obliged by law. If you don't make it that way, let me honestly tell you, nurses and teachers, they're not going to. They are not going to. Even police themselves, they are reluctant to even put together a case when you come and report it, because they almost feel they don't have to go and stand in court to defend or to stand as witnesses. That's how bad things are.
Hi, Clement. Statutory rape, I don't think it's taken seriously in this country. Because I remember not so long ago, I think it was 2022 or 2023, I was listening here on 702, and there was a report that says there are more than 600 girls who are between the age of 10 and 13 who were pregnant at that time. I think, it was 2023, I think. For that year only, there were more than 600 girls between 10 and 13 only, not to mention 16. So I don't think it's taken seriously. Clement, I doubt.
Yo, Clem, that's a very touchy subject. Eh? There's a lady I gave a lift last week here in Western area, and she told me that her daughter fell pregnant at the age of, she was in grade 10 when she fell pregnant by a 45-year-old man. And it was covered up by that lady's mother, just because the guy came with 15,000 rands. I said, Ma, me, I'll open up a case when you come to my daughter. I've got 4 daughters. I don't have time to play. I'll open up a case. I don't have time to play. Yo.
Morning, Clement and the listeners. Yeah, really, the social worker are letting down these children. There's a 12-year-old girl I know here in Fostoras that we're trying to help her. The social worker let this girl down. She didn't report the rape, the continuous rape of this child by his stepfather. The child, the only thing that the social worker did, they removed the child instead of opening the case and take this a child to the hospital so that she can be checked. Then the perpetrator can be arrested. Instead, they remove the child to the a safety place. What about the future of this child? What about that? I'm telling you, radio social worker are letting these children down. Mam Zota from Katlehong.
Yeah, this is really so distressing. Thank you for your call, for your WhatsApps. Moses, you are calling us from Johannesburg. You want to weigh in on this conversation about herbal medicine. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Clement, I am a renal failure patient with kidney disease, and I'm taking dialysis twice a week, and it keeps me better because once I take dialysis, I live like a normal person, but actually I am in there. Now, Clement, you see, we are scared to take herbal medicine because we believe so much in science. Our life is driven by science. When we get sick, we rush to the hospital, and then the doctors will check our blood pressure. They will do all sorts of things, but they use science to determine whether we are sick and how we can be cured. And now the problem with the herbal medicine is that most of it is guesswork. You know, it's not been tested in the lab. There's no measurement that is used there. And there's no amount of science that can determine how much of this medicine you take and what happens to it, to your anatomy and your physiology. So that is the problem that we have, that because of our knowledge and the exposure to science, we tend to shy away from traditional medicine.
Yeah.
I'm an African man. I believe in amadlozi and all that. You know, I come from your same area, that because I listen to you, Marapiano area there. And we believe in our ancestors, and we do rituals of our ancestors as well as African people. But when it comes to health and sick, we first look at what science has for us.
Yeah.
So there are people who say there are herbs that we can take that will cure the kidney, and then you are taken out of dialysis. But when you go back to the doctors, your nephrologist and your cardiologist, they say, no, if you do that, you're going to finish off the little kidney that you have, and now you're going to go straight to your grave.
Yeah, and which is weird because some of this Western medicine, so to speak, also borrows from herbal medicine. Matlodi actually puts it so well on Twitter, says, Clement, people reject traditional medicine until it's on the shelves or praised by other races. I am having my lingana and mint for a cough right now because I don't like medication that makes me drowsy. We should stop doubting our knowledge and embrace it. I mean, think about it. I mean, there are natural remedies like a limestone, iliche lomkoti. Some people call it that. You can use that for sore throat. In fact, the other day, I saw that researchers at the Northwest University found an indigenous plant commonly known as the cancer bush. And it has been found to exhibit promising anti-cancer activity against several cancer types, including drug-resistant small cell lung cancer and other cancers. I'm raising this discussion because I'm saying, you see, this is what scientists are discovering, but that doesn't mean you don't have even inyanga or healers, traditional healers, that have been using that medicine before. But what will somehow give it credence then becomes, when it's got that stamp of approval from the scientists or from, as the listener said, the West. So how do you do it then? How do you place your reliance, one, if truly you believe this works, on the herbal medicines, and do you openly talk about it, or do you find that there are certain even medical doctors who respond quite weirdly towards you when you tell them that that is the medicine that you've been using to try and deal with your ailment? More of your thoughts and WhatsApps after the break. It's 13 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Ach, Barry, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. My life has taken a hard left at career goals.
It's not your life that's turning, bro. It's your steering.
My steering?
Your car's pulling left like your decisions. Go get top quality Miles steering parts from Goldwagen. That will set you straight.
Wait, I feel aligned.
It's just your steering that needed direction. Goldwagen. Keep on driving.
I heard she's got a recruiter team working 24/7.
Mm-hmm. That one. She has a secret supply of talent.
I knew it. She's definitely keeping a secret from us.
Nothing mysterious, guys. It's SA Youth, South Africa's largest youth online recruitment platform. Fast to post, effortless to use, and effective every time.
Recruit on the portal to potential. sayouth.co.za. Powering South Africa's youth workforce.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
702.
WhatsApp Clement
on 072
702
1702.
11 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Morning, Clement. This is Chioma here in Midrand. I always use traditional medicine, herbs and stuff. I don't like going to the doctor. I don't believe in using the doctors for anything. So always I use traditional medicine. Lucky enough is that my partner also understands. I also encourage her to use traditional medicine. So we use the traditional medicine together. The only time when I buy these things from the I don't know what to call it. It's only maybe when I have a headache, Panado and that. But for everything else, for me, it's just traditional medicine. And also it's because I believe that the pharmaceuticals, they're not here to help us. They're just here to make money. So and most of the things I believe they would have sorted them out, would have had cures, but then they're not willing to do that. So with traditional medicine, you always get to be proper. Thank you, Clement.
Morning, Clement. As a healthcare professional, I can tell you it has nothing to do with whether herbal medicine is associated with witchcraft or whatever. It's got a lot to do, or at least why healthcare practitioners get upset, is because whether you like it or not, it's a fact, this is not my opinion, that a lot of these herbal medications contain substances that are harmful to the patients, and particularly when it comes to children. You know, the traditional healers fill these kids up with all sorts of things, and the most egregious one is the so-called spate that they use to clean the intestines and whatever. That is probably one of the most harmful practices you can get, and kids end up in ICU and dying from that practice. So that's the one thing. The second thing is that as a medical practitioner, you need to know when the patient is using these things, because they do have an impact on your management, and patients need to be open and honest about it, you know, without trying to hide things. That's a problem. They try to hide it.
Good morning, Clement, and what an important conversation that you are having. I was recently, at a health practitioner, and during the consultation, I'm trying to, do an elimination process. Ukuthi, could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be this? And in the meantime, I'm telling the doctor the things that I'm using to mitigate some of the symptoms that I have. When I told him about ashwagandha, he scoffed and he made it sound so ridiculous, and that I use aloe, like raw aloe that I pick up from the garden. And he just ridiculed me. And imagine if you are not someone, you are already vulnerable when you are there. You are in pain, you are embarrassed by some of the things that you are having and whatnot. And health practitioners like to humiliate Africans for African medication solutions. So I agree that people will, of course, be embarrassed. Imagine if you don't have the vocab to advocate for yourself.
Yeah, you see, and as doctors, you can't say people must be transparent and be open about this, which they must, because otherwise there are risks to their health. But you can't say that they must be open when you're not creating a safe environment for them to do so. And you ridicule them whenever they tell you that this is the traditional medicine or herbal medicine that they have taken. Yeah, we need to do better so that we allow for a more honest and transparent conversation between doctor and patient. It's 7 minutes before 10.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
7:02. Let's walk the talk.
Tabiso, you are calling from Johannesburg. What do you want to say on this issue around statutory rape? Good morning.
Okay. Hello, how are you over there?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm also good. I'm just going to articulate the scenario that we went through. I'm a high school teacher in the disciplinary committee. At some point, there's a learner who was having problems coming to school. The learner is not coming. When you contact the mother says, I'm aware that my learner is coming to school. When we go through the learner's phone with relevant people in the school, we find that the learner is involved in a relationship with someone older who's not schooling, about 20, 21 years old. The learner is 14 years old. After that, we advise the mother to go to the police station and report this. The mother comes back following day. Also, the child was getting beaten by that guy, and also they were drinking together and all that stuff. So now what happens is when we tell the mother to go to the police station, the mother comes back following day saying at the police station, they asked her why is she not guarding her child, and then they told her to come with the child. When she came with the child the following day, the person helping at the police station first asked the child, what are you doing, as if it is the child's fault being involved with that old person. Afterwards, when the mother referred the police to the place where the guy stayed, the police didn't get back to the mother, but the mother now experienced people coming to her house at night, busy knocking, saying they want to talk to her, whereby she was aware from the language they speak that it's people from the same area that she reported the guy from. When she went back to the police station, she ended up not being attended to a point where she came back to the school now complaining that she's afraid for her life because after she reported that person, she doesn't know how the people know who she is and where they stay. But now the people are constantly coming to her house.
Sure, yeah.
Yes. So,
Tabis.
yeah, so that's the situation. Yes.
Yeah, and these are some of the cases that, are being dealt with out there. Thank you for your contribution and for sharing your experience with us. More of your WhatsApps.
This anonymous in Krugersdorp. Look, I myself am a social worker. I'm a practicing social worker. The matter of statutory rape, Clement, I think social workers are orientated and they are educated enough because they deal with the Act, both Sexual Offences Act as well as Children's Act. However, we have a dilemma with police officers who are not properly equipped in terms of dealing with statutory rape because the onus does not rest on social workers. The social worker have to report a case, and after having reported the case, the police must continue with investigations and ensure that the perpetrator is brought to book. But in most cases, the perpetrators are left scot-free because of whatever reason. So if our police are capacitated enough, I think we will win this issue of statutory rape.
Good morning, Clement, and your listeners. What a sensitive subject that's been discussed today. I mean, in most cases, family members are letting these children down because you hear of instances where the family members accept payments for damages, the family members accept a form of compensation, and then sometimes they are part of an abortion process or they are part of a process of hiding the pregnancy. So it's really disturbing, and we need more work to be done by the social workers, by the nurses that attend these children at clinics so that they can be able to hold the perpetrators of this accountable. Great show as always. Thank you.
Your friend's cell phone just got stolen. Now they're using yours to find out if it was covered outside of their home. Turns out it wasn't. Meanwhile, Santam covers your cell phone anywhere, along with your laptop and smartwatch. Even your bicycle would be covered if you could ride one. You insured nice, not twice. Get cover for your valuables online or call 0860 444 444 to get a quote. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and a controlling company for its group companies.
Mzansi, Akwele asked, and you chose. The brand new delicious mango sparkling flavor is here. And now, it's time to win. Akwele is giving away grocery vouchers and airtime every day. Plus, you could win one of 2 Suzuki Swift cars. To enter, get your Akwele Mzansi Mango in store and find the unique code under the cap. Sunshine, joy, and refreshment in a bottle. That's the new Akwele Mzansi Mango. T's and C's apply.
20% off all Pocket Spring mattresses. Invest in your health with a good night's sleep from Dial-A-Bed. Pocket Springs provide head-to-toe support with reduced partner movement, which means better sleep for everyone. Shop our Pocket Springs in-store or online today for your 20% off. Plus, get next-day delivery on our best sellers. Dial-A-Bed. Sleep for life.
Let's walk the talk.
This is Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Good morning, Clement. 2 weeks ago, I was not well, coughing nonstop. And what I did is that I went to the clinic, got medication, antibiotics, finished the course, but I was still coughing. And, I remembered, afterwards, what I call grandma remedy. What I did is that I went, got sirokolo, chew sirokolo, swallowed the juice. And, cooked lingana, took cups, for 3 days, and my cough was gone. And, I don't call it traditional medicine, but I call it natural herbs. They help a lot. And we shouldn't lose this knowledge. We must keep this knowledge because it helps a lot.
No,
Thank you, Clement.
absolutely.
It's Radi Pope from Midrand.
Thank you, Radi Pop, and thanks to all of you that have shared your experiences on this subject matter. It's 10 o'clock now. We're going to get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. When we return, we start our Hanging Out feature. And we're hanging out with Desmond Dube today. Don't miss it.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Senior Hawks official Gavin Jacob is back at the Madlanga Commission to continue with his testimony today. He admitted during his appearance yesterday that he did not follow proper procedure in handling a major drug bust in Durban. His testimony was about the operation which he headed in 2021, where police intercepted a shipping container carrying 541 kilograms of cocaine. The drugs were stolen from the Hawks offices in Port Shepstone a few months later. Tabiso Goba reports.
During cross-examinations yesterday, Gavin Jacob made a number of admissions. He conceded to not informing his direct commander he was coming out of leave to work on the drug bust. He also conceded that he made a number of misrepresentations in his investigation diary when he said custom officials and members from the Operational Response Service were part of the operation.
Are you even bound by the national instruction applicable to drug seizures, DPCI?
Yes, definitely. The national instructions apply to the police holistically.
Now, sitting here today, focusing only on what you have covered with Advocate Sillo, up to the point where you take the drugs out of the containers, can you say to us that you complied fully with that national instruction?
Honestly, no, Commissioner. No. I haven't complied fully.
Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
The KwaZulu-Natal Transport Department says all resources will be deployed to find people behind the attack of an e-hailing driver and a passenger. A video of the incident has been widely circulated on social media, showing a group of men in security uniforms accosting the victims with a gun in KwaDengezi. The group was traveling in a security vehicle believed to be linked to the taxi industry. Transport Department spokesperson Vincent Magwenya says gunshots were heard during the ordeal.
Last night we received a distressed call from the leadership of the KZN E-Hailing Council. They shared a video showing an attack on the e-hailing driver who was transporting female passengers. Security guards from a company allegedly hired by a taxi association are seen in the circulating video brandishing guns and ordering the e-hailing driver to drop off female passengers.
The ANC in Parliament says it won't stop its practice of calling officials to its study group meetings, despite the DA laying a complaint with the Public Service Commission. UDM leader Bantu Holomisa also complained to Speaker Thoko Didiza about the practice, but the ANC Chief Whip Mdumiseni Ntuli says the complainants are misguided about the purpose of the practice. He insists there is nothing untoward about having top officials explain matters to ANC MPs ahead of portfolio meetings in Parliament. Lindsay Dentlinker takes a look.
As the name study group suggests, ANC Chief Whip Mdumiseni Ntuli says they are a preparatory forum for ANC MPs to analyse documents ahead of portfolio committee meetings. While the DA has complained that information shared by officials in these groups is allegedly being used to drive a political agenda against its ministers, Ntuli has dismissed the suggestion.
It is factually incorrect to suggest that the ANC Study Group are platforms through which members of parliament become embedded in administrative processes.
Ntuli says these are information sharing sessions only to provide technical briefings and no directives are issued. He insists no laws are being breached by calling officials to study group meetings and they are not being forced to attend.
There are certainly not sinister attempts to facilitate some kind of a state capture, as others have suggested, in any form.
Ntuli says all political parties are at liberty to request information from government departments to assist them in performing their oversight responsibilities. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And President Cyril Ramaphosa is hosting his Kenyan counterpart, William Ruto, at the Union Buildings today. The state visit is expected to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. Discussions are expected to focus on trade and economic cooperation, as well as regional, continental and international issues of mutual interest. Alpha Ramushwana has more.
At least 60 South African companies operate in Kenya, with investments spanning a range of sectors across the economy. Government says the two countries have also signed 28 agreements and memoranda of understanding aimed at strengthening trade and economic cooperation. The bilateral talks between President Cyril Ramaphosa and Kenyan President William Ruto will be followed by a business forum. The forum is aimed at encouraging greater investment between Africa's two largest economies and enhanced trade relations. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,469.38 an ounce. The rand is at 16.32 to the dollar, 21.91 to the pound, 18.95 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $96.90 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in South Crest along the N12 East. It's right near the airlines interchange. Delays from Fort Fricker Road. There's also queuing traffic along the N3 North between Marlborough Drive and the Buccleuch interchange due to an earlier accident.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 19 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Senior Hawks official Gavin Jacob is continuing with his testimony at the Madlanga Commission today in relation to a major drug bust in Durban.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 7:02.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
6 minutes after 10 o'clock, Dumelang. Welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702, and thank you for your contributions on the 702 open line. Remember, at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Thursday dialogue, and today I'm going to be having a conversation with Advocate Dalimpofu. He's going to join me in studio, and I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions around the constitutional principles behind that Phala Phala judgment, but also entirely the Phala Phala saga, because the matter is now in the court, because the president is reviewing that Section 89 report. But the matter is also being ventilated in Parliament through an impeachment committee. But I want us to unpack and simplify some of the legal and constitutional concepts which have been a topic of discussion. And as you know, Advocate Dalimpofu has been involved in a number of cases that really culminated into that Phala Phala judgment that is now the subject of conversations. So that's going to be our topic on our Thursday dialogue at 11 o'clock. But right now, we start with our Hanging Out feature.
Hanging Out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
And today, I'm hanging out with someone whom many of us grew up watching on television. And I'm really honored to be sitting across him this morning. Desmond Dube. He really is one of the warmly recognized faces in South African entertainment. He's moved from community theater to an Oscar-nominated film to Netflix. And maybe you met him through that iconic Sasol Amagluk television commercial. Do you remember that?
Windy, 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 windy. Come and take a second Vegas to my I'm a poco poco. Stransky. Wow. Yeah! Windy, windy. Oh, Bafana.
Oh man, what a time. And that's actually a performance that won him an award. But from there, really, his career expanded. He's been in theater, he's done film, television. You may have seen him on the Academy Award-nominated Hotel Rwanda, or as Uncle Shadrach in the Netflix hit How to Ruin Christmas, or Suburban Bliss, and so many other productions out there. And who can forget some of the shows that he has hosted and produced, some of the most beloved comedy shows, including Dube on Monday, and Dube on 2 was just incredible, wasn't it?
Tumelum Zulu. Sent a Zulu. A perfect solution for a South African problem. I swear, man. Just have you ever needed something sorted when you're scared, when you're worried, when you're nervous? Tumelum Zulu for your debts, for your loan shark, for collect. Tumelum Zulu,
Desmond Dube, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Oh, thank you so much for coming through. When someone talks to someone of your caliber, I don't even know where to begin because your career has expanded so much. But I always like asking my guests to reflect on their career, because I don't know if you guys do that a lot, because you've impacted us in unimaginable ways. And I wonder if sometimes you pause and you say, God, thank you. It's crazy where I come from, and to have lived this life and achieved the things I've achieved, I'm really grateful. How do you feel reflecting on your career?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think gratitude will be number one on that list. But, more importantly, the fact that I'm even here, I'm at an age now where when you refer to your friends, you're like, the late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The late so-and-so. So the fact that we're still here, and I'm given the opportunity to talk to Clement Manyathela on 702. It's amazing. But yes, reflection of your career is there. And often the public will let you know if you are in the wrong direction or if you're in the right direction. And often, I mean, right now, I was at the traffic light, and there was a family in another car, and I see the entire family waving, and that just reminds you that this is why you do what you do.
That is so cool. I love seeing celebrities at traffic lights, and I hoot, and they don't know who you are, but you're just hooting and smiling at them. So you've said before that you think this career chose you, but where did the love begin for you? Was there a time when you were growing up where something happened and you thought, I want to do this for the rest of my life?
You know, as most black kids, go kerekeng, you go to church, Sunday school, you start doing the music thing and so on. And I started falling in love with sketches, But I remember exactly when it bit me. My mother wanted to go to a Mahotela Queen's show.
Yeah.
And I think they had a fallout with my grandmother or something.
Yeah.
And she had no choice but to take me to the show. And I don't think kids were allowed. But she spoke to, security, and so they put me right at the back where the lights are, where the lights are being controlled. And I remember watching Mahotela Queens. I don't know if you know this, but Mahotela Queens, they used to do performances. For example, if they were talking about pain, they would do like 4 or 5 songs about pain in a different costume. And then they would go off and then they would come back with love songs,
in a different costume.
In a different costume.
Wow.
And I remember sitting there and thinking, this is so cool.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do is being on stage. And of course, I started doing that at church. And that's where I started writing scripts for certain messages, including the topic you had earlier on about statutory rape.
Statutory rape,
I think that was actually my first play.
Is it? Jeez. And
Became
how
very
was
controversial.
it? I can only imagine
And
because
then the elders were like,
yeah, you're causing too much controversy.
Rest a little bit.
you were forced. Back then you were forcing them to clearly have these difficult conversations, which, by the way, are still difficult today. So
Absolutely.
can you imagine back then?
Yep.
So
and back then you were disrespectful.
Yeah.
If you spoke up about something like this and you were young.
Yeah. So how many languages do you speak?
About 8 of the 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is quite impressive.
Yeah. I grew up everywhere in this country, man.
Yeah.
So
Umanawa, every part of this country.
Yeah, every part of this country.
Yeah. Fascinating. There's a lot I still want to talk to you about, but we want to get to know you through your music.
Right.
So I'm going to play Sedilaka.
Right.
By Credo Daniels. Tell me why this song is so special to you.
Because it's been on a loop in my vehicle for the past, I think, since that record was launched. That whole album, I've just been playing, that entire album. Yeah. But this is my wife's favorite as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
Let's listen to it. What a beautiful song, man. How central has your religion been and your belief systems, let me put it that way, throughout your journey?
I think the core of my existence has been spirituality. I source from it. I source, even morals and principles from there. I tend to talk to myself when I'm, going in the wrong direction, and it forces me to go down on my knees and pray to find a clearer path, So yes, spirituality is absolutely central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got some WhatsApps also that are coming through on 072-702-1702. In fact, let me start with this question, because of course you get this question, I'm sure, every single time you do interviews, and you can already guess what it is.
Yes.
Right?
Lillian Dube.
Are you related?
Yes.
I mean, that's the first question. As you were walking in studio, before we even started talking, a listener sent a WhatsApp. That was the first question that came. Please ask him if he's related.
We're still waiting for the paternity test.
Yeah.
We are
to figure out
what's happening.
But that's your industry mother. Hey, you've been working with her for so long.
For the longest time.
Yeah.
Actually, last week my wife and I were having a conversation about a time when I, just before the passing of Mam Lillian's mother, who was like, my heart, And I realized,
yeah.
I know a mother of a grandmother.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I've known her for a long time.
Yeah.
I've known her for a long time.
Yeah. So fascinating. Like, God works in mysterious ways. For characters, two different people who are not related to gel like this and have a synergy, and even in some way,
and then sound the same,
and almost like Kibatubautua from the same family, but they're not.
Yeah,
it's so fascinating.
One of the fascinating things about Mam Lillian and I is that we'll go to a corporate event, for example, and I would spot something that's funny. Before I say it, she's already said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you realize that there's a synergy that is scary.
Yeah. Have you always been like funny growing up? Like, were you like the funniest amongst your friends or in your family?
I had my late sister used to laugh a lot at people. So that we were that like sibling couple. But I think more than that, it was viewed as being naughty. So I never thought I was funny. I was just a naughty kid. Naughty in, when something funny happens, your grandmother turns around, in church.
Yeah.
She turns around to see
gives you the look.
Gives you the look. You better shut up.
Yeah.
So
you were that kid. That is
I was
naughty.
that kid. Yeah.
All right, let's go to some WhatsApps on 072-702-1702.
Hey, Clement. Now you have got the Malcop in brackets. That guy. He is the best of the best on TV everywhere. Hey, yeah. I know. Arnaldi champion, man. And that's all the champion but Clement. Yeah, Tipa from Davidton, Clement.
Thank you,
Thank
Tipa.
you so much to invite such guys.
Yeah.
Latuma.
Thank you.
That's very kind.
How did that Ahmad Look commercial change your life?
Oh, drastically.
I mean, how many years is it now? And people still
it's a long
reference
time ago.
that. I mean, someone sent the script, and like they reciting it and saying it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
some
yeah,
people
yeah.
have memorized actually what you used to say.
I recently met like a 16-year-old who was doing the ad exactly like me, sounded like me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You are 16, Don.
Ah.
You were not even there."
Yes, when I did this thing.
Yeah, when I did this thing.
How did it change your career?
Oh, no, drastically. I mean, when I did that, we were still filming Suburban Bliss, which was my first major TV comedy show. And it just happened that it was right while we were shooting Suburban Bliss. And then I had to leave. I went to the Netherlands. We shot the ad. Then I had to go to the Netherlands. So the ad got released in South Africa.
While you were there?
While I was there.
Yeah. Were you in theater there?
I was in theater there. And then I bumped into like 3 Nigerian guys who were like, "Oh, Ahmad Look." And I was like, what are they talking
Yeah.
about? That's when I knew that if I, when I come back to the country, everyone will recognize me from Amadlukluk,
Sure.
So after that, it sort of just spiraled, particularly into the advert world, because, before then, I think I'd just done maybe 1 or 2, 3 ads. And then suddenly, everybody wanted me for their advert.
And clientele got you.
And
never let
clientele
go
was
of
like,
you.
No, just, you come here, sit down.
How
Yeah.
long have you been with them now?
About 21 years.
Do you know of anyone who has ever stayed with a brand for that long?
I don't.
I don't.
No, I don't. I don't, except from Anthony Anderson in the U.S. He was also with an insurance company, but I think he was with them for about 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you came in, our colleague from 947, Anilem Dota, came to say hi to you, and she said to you, "Do you have the lasting dignity plan?"
Yeah. She said lasting dignity plan. I was like, how old is Anel?
Yeah, because that was like
lasting
an
dignity,
old one.
No, lasting
and it
dignity
probably
was a
ended
long
there.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
That is
In
so...
fact, it ended before I became brand ambassador for clientele.
That is so fascinating. I don't think my mom will even believe that I'm talking to you right now. So I
Yeah.
must actually take a selfie and send it to her.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go to Midrand now. Bovungana. Good morning.
Hey, Clement, how's it
I am not, brother. How are you?
Hey, you have a funny man. Tuve. Do you remember this? A Boca Sophie cop, you stop a white man, poor man. You said, why are you wearing a puss? I come with a puss. And the guy was very angry. Keep on asking, what must I wear? Tuve did not answer. And he said, why are you wearing this? Hey, the way he was angry, he removed his jacket and throw it down.
You know the funny thing about that story, that particular guy, it was on a Leon Schuster film. That particular guy is now the head of security in the area I live in.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he reminded me. He was like,
hey,
do you remember this?
And you
I
did
almost
remember.
killed you, yeah.
Interesting. Oh, okay. We've got a call now from your industry mother, Lillian Dube. Hello, Mom Lillian.
Hello, my sugar bean.
How are you?
I'm good. You've got my favorite son there with you. That Montawanak, we really must do DNA test. Because we are the same in every way. And guess who is like me and you? Listen.
Yes.
You know what I respect you for, Wanaka? I love the fact that you love people and you respect people. That makes me so proud of you.
Thank you.
Whatever, that is special. You make everybody think and feel that they are special. Which is a rare gift, especially with a person like you.
Thank you so much.
We love
Lillian.
people and we don't take people for granted and we are blessed.
Thank you, Mom.
And
Thank
I
you so
love
much.
you and I wish you everything of the best. Your humility.
I love you too much.
Right now. I love you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you. And on a little purpose, Clement.
Bareke Clement. Mama, what's
Laba
about
Corrente.
Clement? Utswa hlala kahle high school. Una kena hlala kahle. Gore a ke tsebe gore sekgwa seo se nkile kae cause hlala kahle ha ena sekgwa se so.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Lillian. Every time people say Salagahle High School and secondary school like Mbuduma. And then primary I went to what's the name of the primary school now? Ekupagameni. Yes. So those are the schools I went to. Tell me about the discipline that theater sort of taught you. And I don't want to love you what you love the most. I want to ask you what you love the most between theater and just doing television and film. But, I mean, the two are vastly different.
Yeah.
How do you draw inspiration from either of them?
First, let me acknowledge the call. Mom Lillian calling. She loves you, by the way. I knew that she would be listening to this.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the things I learned from Mom Lillian is that this is a very wise woman.
Yeah,
she's not just funny because people see funny. She is very wise and she reads a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Like how Shabile Mam Lilian, you think him no such a thing next. You know.
And she remembers. I mean, I remember once she invited me to her house, and I've never met this woman. I mean, I just know her as a big star, but she's been listening to my show. And one time she got my number and she said, "I want you to come over to the house," you know. And I got there, and I think we spoke probably for about 2-3 hours. You know, we chilled. And we were just chilling outside, and she was just telling me so much about this country and remembering the things that I didn't even know about, that I've never even heard people talk about. And I thought, wow, that's like institutional knowledge right there.
Yeah.
And she's incredibly smart.
No,
I agree with you.
She's very smart. She's very smart. At my wedding,
did she speak at the wedding?
Yeah.
You are brave.
No.
You gave Mam Lillian your mic at your wedding.
I actually didn't. My mother, my biological mother did.
Yeah.
So my mother was called to go up on stage, and I think she had stage fright, and then she looked down and she said, "Lillian, go. You know." And Mam Lillian got to speak. So, but it was fascinating, man. I love this woman to bits.
Yeah.
I love her to bits.
Oh man. Such a cool woman.
Yeah.
Such a cool woman.
Let me answer that question about
the theatre.
The discipline of theatre. I think what a lot of people don't know is that I also grew up in the martial arts field. And you have no idea. Listen, when you have kids, start them with martial arts before any other sports. Because the discipline you get from, being a martial artist is it's insane. And then obviously by the time I got to the theater world, I was blessed with focus, But I love theater. It's my number one. I think if theater had a lot of money, I would not be even doing television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell, there's certain actors whose work you observe and you can see that these people are trained.
Right.
That discipline is very visible.
Right.
And often the most amazing actors are people that have really started in theater.
Sure.
And as you say, unfortunately,
are really celebrity.
Yeah. You are just artists, creatives who thespians who just want to portray characters.
Right.
It's so fascinating. So when you do work, because you're an actor, I would imagine, before you're a comedian.
Sure.
How do you decide then what roles you want to take? Because we know you a lot as a comedian.
Yeah.
Is that what you were intentional about, that this is going to be my path?
Comedy is my first love.
Okay.
In all honesty. I mean, comedy makes me happy.
And it makes other people happy.
It makes other people happy as well. I like working on anything that's comical because I'm kind of naughty. But I think I got to a point where I think around 2018, 2019, I was like, okay, I need to show a little bit of versatility when it comes to being called an actor. So I started playing a little bit more serious roles. I did a play called I See You in England. And that was probably the most serious role I ever played, and scary as well, because I was playing an old MK soldier who is traumatized and now he's a policeman. And this guy is just brutal on the streets, But I remember my family came to see it, and my older daughter, looked at the younger one and said, "You never want to see dad like that."
Yeah.
Ever.
Ever again.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the fact that even my kids were convinced that that's that man was different. That's not our father.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, the versatility sort of made me happy. And I sort of kind of like wanted to tell those kind of stories, push a little bit. If you watched 180 recently, my character would probably be called at the Matlanga Commission.
Yeah, very corrupt.
Yeah, very corrupt.
All right, it's 10:31. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Desmond Dube. He's on our Hanging Out feature this morning. I'm taking your calls and your WhatsApps as well, so keep them coming. I will start with them after the headlines. Fiso, good morning.
Thanks, Clements. Good morning. Self-proclaimed political fixer Ramaphosa has arrived in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court, and that's where he's expected to find out if his application to be released on bail is successful. Mokgotsi was arrested last month shortly after his testimony at the Madlanga Commission. He's accused of staging an assassination attempt on his own life last year. Precautionary measures remain in place in the Garden Route National Park in anticipation of severe weather. The South African Service has issued warnings for disruptive rainfall in parts of the Garden Route and Central Karoo districts. This comes just weeks after devastating floods swept through the region, claiming 11 lives across the Western Cape. And Africa's response to the Middle East war will feature prominently at South Africa and Kenya's bilateral talks today. President Cyril Ramaphosa is hosting his Kenyan counterpart, William Ruto, on a state visit at the Union Buildings. The two countries have enjoyed trade and bilateral relations since 1994, with at least 60 South African companies operating in Kenya. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in South Crest, we still have got that accident on the N12 East. It happened right near the Elands interchange. It's causing heavy delays from Fort Rucker Road. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N3 North in the Alexandra area, we've got roadworks taking place right after Vincent Chabalala Road. They're causing delays there. There's also queuing traffic due to more roadworks along the N12 and the R24 West between the Edenville Road exit and the Gululis interchange. If you are traveling towards Amalgam, do expect delays on the M2 West. That's between the Crown interchange and Main Reef Road. Otherwise, in the city of Tshwane, we've got some issues along the R55 in the Centurion area approaching Weirder Road. Please be on the lookout there. About a 15-minute hold up there. More updates at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Let's hear from Susan, owner of Leopard Song Manor, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
We were with our previous insurer for 13 years. Switching made me aware of things that we weren't covered for. It was a quick process. I saved a lot of money.
For boutique hotels, catering companies, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Mzansi, the excitement is building. The 130th running of the Hollywood Bets Durban July takes place on Saturday, 4 July. This year's theme, Country Allure, draws from the richness of our land. A celebration of heritage, freedom and style, inspired by our beautiful countryside. It's more than a race. It's where champions are made, stories are written, and greatness is unleashed. World-class horse racing, bold fashion, music, culture, and a day of endless excitement at Hollywood Bets Greyville Racecourse. Get your tickets now at Ticket Pro and release your glamour at the Hollywood Bets Durban July, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event.
Famous for available staff. Famous for knowledgeable staff. Famous for always helping you with a smile. Now with 10 stores across Gauteng, our expert staff are here to help you with all your hardware needs. Paint, power tools, gardening, pet care and plumbing. Big on stock, strong on service, built on values. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
In a world that is continuously evolving, Africa is adapting, innovating, and finding new pathways for growth. RMB Africa Focus is back for its 5th season to unpack the conversations shaping the continent right now. Every week on 702, award-winning journalist Crystal Odison takes a closer look at influential economies and emerging opportunities across Africa with insights from RMB experts and regional voices. Catch RMB Africa Focus Tuesday on 702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Make sure you watch the in-depth video series with episodes released weekly on Prime Media Plus. RMB, a leading African corporate and investment bank.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
24 minutes before 11 o'clock on our Hanging Out feature this morning, we are hanging out with a superstar. A man that we grew up watching who is so immensely talented. Desmond Dube is in studio with us this morning, and I want to go to your calls now on 072 702 1702. Let's start with your WhatsApps.
Hello, Clement. Good morning, and the listeners and Desmond Lab. Yeah, I used to watch his SAPC 2 Dube on 2 back in the days. I used to love that show. Whenever I wanted to laugh, I know I would laugh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Abanta kumele sibabonge basaphila baba. Kumele sibabonge basaphila.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you're talking about celebrities that are down to earth, he's one of them.
So you are down to earth, I get, but I wonder if you sometimes have the pressure of meeting the expectation of your fans because they see you as a funny man. So sometimes whether about wanna go restauranting, family or you're having a bad day at the mall, and they think they're gonna get the Desmond Dube who's in high spirits. How do you manage that?
I mean, being funny is always expected.
Yeah.
And you're quite right. I don't even do malls. I don't go to malls for that exact reason. I do small centers.
Yeah.
So, you'll park here, you get into the shop, you get out, because malling, now you have to go past the banking queue. Yeah. And the guys are standing there, and one recognizes you and expect you to be funny.
Yeah, and you're rushing that time.
And you're rushing.
Absolutely,
absolutely. But I think also over the years, I got to understand that people are not being ugly.
Yeah.
People just, they are happy to see you. And often it'll be somebody who comes from, particularly around December, someone who comes from Velcom. They've never seen anyone from TV. They see you for the first time. And if you're ugly to them, that's the impression they have about everybody
that's
in the industry. So you're kind of representing a larger industry than just yourself.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, I like that. I mean, they don't mean bad.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes because of the work you do, some people see you as like their bestie.
Yeah.
So when they meet you at that level, take it, because how you portray yourself on television or when you do comedy is they think, that man, get bestie, man, get show me. So when they see you, it's almost like they know you already.
And they
it's
call
like,
you, and they call you by character name.
Say, but what about say? But they've grown up watching you.
Yeah.
What did it take though to produce? Because that voice note was talking about Dube on 2. I mean, to produce something that consistently make people laugh so hard. Like, what did it take? What did you like? What was your metric?
The dream at the time was just, I don't know what metric means, by the way. I cannot metric. The dream at the time was that television was going through a change.
Yeah.
And I think we had never seen a product on television, particularly sketch comedy, that looked like it came directly from a township. Hence our set was like corrugated iron. We used to sit on dustbins and that kind of stuff. So that, for me, that was the dream. And to bring that corner, hanging outside the shop humor to television, and also, curate it as half theater, half television.
Yeah.
And we were able to get that right. And we were very lucky at the time. Even the commissioning editors were still trying to figure out things at the channel. So we were able to be allowed to come up with scripts right there. We would have
On the
written
spot.
scripts that got, signed off and stuff. But then when we get on set, something else would be funny. And then we go, no, that's, the character Sekhwane Mafike. That character was created because we were short of like 2 minutes on an episode. And, the producer said, what do we do? What do we do? We have to end in this thing later today. And I was like, give me a blanket. I'm going to tell this story. Just as a, and then it became popular. And we had to stick to it now.
Wow, and that's a decision that was just taken on the spot like that.
Right on the spot, yeah.
Wow.
Hi, Clement. I hope you're well, and good morning to Desmond Dube as well. You've got a legend there with you. I mean, some of my fondest memories, earliest memories of Desmond Dube was when he did Dube on 2 with the likes of Lee Duru, and just those were amazing times. I've just got one question for Desmond Dube. Just in terms of what his thoughts are on how the world becoming more politically correct and more woke has affected comedy, and of course, cancel culture now being at the center. You say the wrong thing, you joke about the wrong thing, you are potentially going to get cancelled. And I'd just like to hear his thoughts on how that has affected comedy, particularly in the South African context. Thank you so much, Lulama and Binoni.
Morning, Clement. You've got mad caps there. Clement, that's a legend. That guy is an all-rounder. I wanted to greet him. Desmond and Limama Lilian. Well, those are our legends, man. It's Jan Peter Tahi here. Hey, but wow, never go say Timbao, Clement. I wanted to say hi to them. Thank you. Bye.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. There's someone who's asking about cancel culture and how it sort of has affected comedy.
Yeah. Of course, it has. It has. But, I don't believe that cancel culture just came from society. I really think cancel culture was curated by politics. For example, the public broadcaster, you started seeing comedy die slowly because now it was scrutinized. For example, I remember that I think the last season of Dube on 2, Dube highlighted. We did we submitted our scripts, and the commissioning editor came back and said, you can't say that about the president, and you can't say this about this, and you can't say. And one of those people was Dr. Evan Khoza. And someone who I know knew Evan Khoza directly. And I took this piece of script to him, and he just laughed and said, no, man, you can do this thing. And I said, can you write me an email or something to show that, you would say yes to this thing. It was around the time when there was controversy about SARS and, him and 97 companies or whatever. And I realized that it was actually the whole cancel culture started with, it started with politicians. And they owned the parastatals. So they were able to say, don't. But it's not on it's not on black and white. It's a system.
Jeez, it's fascinating already back then. Okay, let's go to some calls now. Teddy, you calling us from Northcliffe. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Except there's this Teddy Matera. Who's it now?
Hey, Teddy.
What's up, Buddha?
Yes, Mami, bro, man. I also want to just pay tribute, man. When Clement, when legends come on, you need to take a bow and pay respect. I worked with Des, and he's an immaculate, timeous, organized person, and that really helped us deliver what we needed to. So Des, I salute you, my brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, especially from you. Teddy Matera.
Okay.
Thank you, brother Teddy. Lerato in Pretoria, hi.
Clement, how are you?
Sharp, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I think my first intro to Desmond Dube was a theatre production. I was in high school, and it was called Josie Right. It was a hilarious production where he was playing multiple characters. And I still think that production would be so relevant to today because then it was talking about people migrating to Joburg from, I guess, just Johannesburg.
Right.
And its intricacies. And they broadcasted once on SABC, and I wish they would broadcast it again because I think it's one of the best production I've seen.
Yeah.
And I think people don't actually get to see a lot of Desmond's theatre work, and it would be great to see, especially from that long ago, something from so long ago that's still relevant today.
Yeah, Josie Right. It was at the Market Theatre.
Josie guy.
Yes,
Josie guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow.
It was at the Market Theatre, and then it went on tour for 24 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lorato, thank you so much, man. Thank you for your call in Pretoria. All right, let's play another song. This is also one of my favorite artists, Xoli, Umuhle Baba. Why is this one special? Is it also just on your list? You've been listening to
You know,
it a
in
lot?
2024, I remember first I suffer from insomnia. I used to.
Mm.
You know, I think it got sorted now. But I was also going through just a hard time, and just, you know, life happens.
Mm.
And I was in a hotel in Cape Town, and I left my TV on for some reason on a music channel. And in my sleep, this song played. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. This song played, and I just, when I woke up, I was like, there was music. There was music in my, and the following day I got home and I was just searching gospel music. You know, which song was this? Which song was this? Because I saw it in my dream. It was playing on TV, of course.
Yeah.
But because I was asleep while the TV was playing, oh my God. Yeah. So this song is really special.
It's a special
Yeah.
one.
It's my prayer. Yeah.
Bongani Bingwa, 702
Oli.
Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The president saying he is not going to be distracted by people with narrow agendas because South Africans are interested in the real stuff. Calls for him, of course, to come clean on the theft of this foreign currency at his Phala Phala. South Africans aren't preoccupied with that. South Africans are preoccupied with service delivery, not Phala Phala. And there's a delicious cartoon in the Business Day, and it's got a drawing of the president speaking at a podium. And of course, his prepared speech is about government crackdown on illegal migration and porous borders. But they're quoting him here as saying, "Citizens, I feel your pain. Not too long ago, a Sudanese businessman wandered onto my Phala Phala farm, leaving undocumented, undeclared $580,000. Hey, these migrants are a problem, eh? Hundreds of thousands of dollars in my couch. I know exactly what you are going through."
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
702 Josie, my Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people on Sunday, the 26th of July. Babize bonke. And this year, you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 8-kilometer, which will go through the 44 Main Street route, takes you from Ellis Park through Maboneng, Joel City, past the Field of Dreams and Maharashi Invisibility Institute. You can also go through the Main Street Precinct, Gandhi Square, and past the Carlton Center, finishing off at Ellis Park. So whether you are taking on the 8-kilometer, the 5-kilometer, or 15-kilometer route, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie, my Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
The world's best male and female paddle players are coming to South Africa. The historic Premier Paddle Pretoria P1 will be at Sunbet Arena Times Square from 26 July to the 2nd of August. Expect world-class action, unbelievable energy, premium hospitality, and an atmosphere unlike anything South African sport has seen before. This is Africa's biggest paddle tournament ever, and tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to witness the sport's biggest stars in South Africa. Get your tickets now at primemediaplus.com.
20% off all Pocket Spring mattresses. Invest in your health with a good night's sleep from Dial-A-Bed. Pocket Springs provide head-to-toe support with reduced partner movement, which means better sleep for everyone. Shop our Pocket Springs in-store or online today for your 20% off. Plus, get next-day delivery on our best sellers. Dial-A-Bed. Sleep for life.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about, with this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. We're calling on small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 Rand in cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Hanging out with Clement
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes before 11 o'clock. Let's go with your WhatsApps.
Hey, Clement. I wanna that man. I think this is one guy that is just not celebrated enough. Desmond, legend, proper legend. Epratez, no, kukupa more content in food. We need more content.
Thank you.
I see you've been you had disappeared, and now you're gradually making your way back. But please, man, we need you as we had you. There's this thing that we always do, me and my wife. Like we still do. Like even, in the most recent. $7. Remember when you had on that Dube on Monday? Sure, me $7. We always crack at that. But my man, I really, really appreciate you. Sidiso was a Timbi, so sure.
Thanks, Sidiso.
Cool.
Windy. Amatlok. Bafana. Hansi. Clement, you have a legend there. You have a huge legend. I mean, from Amatlok times to when SABC used to host this guy for Dube on Monday, we had to be glued on our screens every Monday. Big ups to you, Desmond, and I hope we see more of you on the screens.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for blessing us.
Morning, Clement and Pratubi. Good morning. I'm very sorry. I'm gonna say this name, but I was very young. Actually, I was very, 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 very young when I said this. When I was young, I used to think, Desmond, Lillian are actually married. I used to think you guys are married when I Lillian told me. But anyway, no, man. I'm really a fan of your work, Mfethu. I know you know how to do your thing. When especially on how to ruin Christmas. You ruined Christmas, but you made my my career life. I don't know. I wanna leave with Shai. Thank you very much, man, for being on our screens. Hey, Tara.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Desmond Dube. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you so much. Mahir says Clement, he portrayed his role very, very well in the 180 on Netflix, keeping his charm and cool, being the corrupt character that he was there on the film. Another says Clement, thanks for bringing this heavyweight of comedy, Mr. Dube on 2. That's Siyabonga in Piri, Soweto. I want to ask you just about being a devoted family man. How has parenthood sort of changed you? Do you think it's changed you in a way?
I think it made me better. I definitely think it made me better. Better decisions, better choices in life. I'm one that never wanted to disappoint my children. I respect my wife, love my wife, but I never wanted to disappoint my kids. So I had to talk to myself. Even the naughty part of me had to straighten up. Definitely made me better.
So how do you then balance the unpredictability of this industry with just trying to be the present father?
This is who I am. If I'm not at work, I'm at home with my kids. Well, now they're not at home anymore, so We've got a little bit of flexibility, my wife and I. So, we're able to go out a little bit more and that kind of stuff. But that's pretty much what the choices became. How much time does one really have to become a parent? I get about 70% of parenting is just being there.
Yeah.
You don't even have to talk to the kids. Just be there.
Just be there.
Be there.
Yeah. Nobuhle says, Clement, I'm listening to you all the way in the Vaal. Please let Mr. Desmond Dube know that he's an inspiration to us and our kids who believe in the arts. We would love to see Dube on 2 again and again and again. So please thank him for us. And really, this just speaks to how we feel about your career, Brother Desmond. Thank you so much for just your contribution, man. You've made us laugh. You've made us enjoy coming together as families and just watching television.
That's the idea.
And I consider it a privilege to be able to sit across you. Someone of your
it's my
caliber.
privilege. The funny thing is, and a lot came out from your WhatsApp messages, is me bumping into a guy like you, Naliditedu. And then the guy is like, I was watching you when I was a kid. And I'm like, hey, dude.
Yeah.
We look the same age.
Yeah. But also, you haven't really changed, eh?
You think so?
No, I mean, do you
give
think
Vaseline, Papa.
Give Vaseline, eh?
Vaseline.
Yeah. I mean, it's so that's good. So you're aging very well. That's a compliment.
No,
thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for inviting
I'm glad
me,
this
man.
finally
Thank you
happened.
so much for inviting me. I'm so glad that I had time to actually pop in this time. I did think my wife will be very disappointed. I thought we'll have an opportunity to do a dance challenge, because I think I'm the only person who can. I mean, I'll win against you. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay, just for that challenge, I think we'll do it before the news and
Yeah,
then we'll post
I
it.
know,
And
I know.
let's let the listeners decide.
I'll call Tando in
How
here.
about that? Desmond Dube, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
You and your team are on fire. You always bring the most relevant, brilliant, immensely talented people onto the Hanging Out feature. Desmond is one of those gems that needs to be appreciated while he's still alive. I took my kids to one of the pantomimes that he was acting in, and he was gracious enough with his time to come and greet us, and we really appreciate him.
Evolution doesn't wait. Introducing the Chang'an Uni S. Unexpected, unmistakable, uncompromising. Engineered to a higher standard, unlike anything in its class. Unsurprising, really, from China's oldest automaker. Trusted by 30 million drivers worldwide. And at $4,999 per month, it's an unbeatable offer too. Chang'an Finance, T's and C's apply. Visit chang'anmotors.co.za for more. The Chang'an Uni S.
Chang'an, driven to evolve.
The groundbreaking musical Nkoli, A Fierce and Fabulous Life, returns to the UJ Theatre on the Kingsway campus in Auckland Park next weekend. Nkoli celebrates the life of Simon Nkoli, who was an anti-apartheid activist, LGBTQI+ pioneer, AIDS activist, and organizer of Joburg's first Pride March. Nkoli explodes on the stage, combining voguing, dance, rap, and video projections. It's the powerful story of a remarkable young freedom fighter who changed South African history. There are 3 performances only next weekend of Nkoli at UJ's theatre before it heads to Germany for its European premiere. Nkoli tickets are available on Quicket.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now, save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Canopus, a large international company, the first French company to list on the JSE. You must be quite chuffed to have it on the bourse.
Absolutely, Stephen. I think it just reflects the credibility of our exchange and the gateway to Africa. It's a big push on our side to bring global companies onto our exchange. And of course, the benefit of those inward listing is that those companies are seen as domestic.
Elena Andy is the Chief Officer for Capital Markets on the JSE.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by Absa Business Banking, featuring the AgriTrends 2026 Autumn Edition. In agriculture, smart moves need smart insights. Get the latest AgriTrends report at absaagritrends.co.za. Absa is a registered FSP.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Hawks commander Gavin Jacob has been challenged at the Madlanga Commission over his decision to store a large consignment of drugs at an unsafe storage facility where they were later stolen. Jacob, head of the Hawks Serious Organised Crime Investigation Unit in Durban, has been testifying at the Commission about the June 2021 bust at the Ispingo depot. Police confiscated 551 kilograms of cocaine, which were later stolen from the Hawks offices in Port Shepstone a few months later. Tabiso Goba reports.
In his affidavit to the Madlanga Commission, Hawks commander Gavin Jacob says there was no police station in the Isipingo vicinity willing to store the large consignment of confiscated drugs. Jacob says he, quotes, exhausted all avenues before calling his superior, Brigadier Campbell Newswa, who suggested that the drugs must be stored at the Hawks offices in Port Shepstone, more than 100 kilometers away. Under cross-examination by Commission Chairperson Mbuyiseli Madlanga, Jacob admitted that he didn't inquire with all of the police stations near Isipingo on whether they had enough space to store the drugs.
Did you ask? Chair, did you ask? No, I did not ask. So you assumed? I knew it would become a problem in the future. You assumed that they could not store the suspected contain. Is that correct? That's correct. Why did you make such an assumption on so serious a matter?
Previous witnesses have told the Madlanga Commission that the Hawks Port Shepstone offices were not secure. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
Heavy rain has once again wreaked havoc in the Eastern Cape. The R102 between Gqeberha and Jeffreys Bay has been closed because of rockfalls and poor visibility. The extreme conditions have hampered recent recovery work from last month's disruptive weather. Road users have been urged to be cautious. Meanwhile, in the Western Cape, disaster risk officials remain on high alert in the Garden Route. The South African Weather Service has issued a warning for disruptive rainfall in parts of that region and the central Karoo district. Precautionary measures have been put in place in the Garden Route National Park, with hiking trails and water-based activities suspended. The Garden Route District Municipality's Herman Peters.
Dozens of low-lying bridges and river crossings are currently flooded. As a result, a number of roads remain closed due to flooding, rock falls, landslides.
And Africa's response to the Middle East war will feature prominently at South Africa and Kenya's bilateral talks today. President Cyril Ramaphosa is hosting his Kenyan counterpart William Ruto on a state visit at the Union buildings this morning. The two countries have enjoyed trade and bilateral relations since 1994, with at least 60 South African companies operating in Kenya. Alfred Mushwana has more from the Union buildings.
Kenya is South Africa's largest trading partner in Africa outside of the SADC region, with approximately 11 billion rand in trade flowing between the two countries each year. South Africa mainly exports minerals such as coal, as well as vehicles manufactured locally to Nairobi and other East African countries. International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says Kenya has shown strong interest not only in strengthening trade ties, but also in ensuring effective migration management.
Of course, in the last engagement of the state visit in Kenya, there was an agreement of a 90 days visa-free program that has contributed immensely to the economy of South Africa.
President Cyril Ramaphosa and his Kenyan counterpart William Ruto will sign the 29th agreement and memoranda of understanding between the two countries. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News at the Union Buildings in Pretoria.
Gold is trading at $4,469.38 an ounce. The rand is at 16.32 to the dollar, 21.91 to the pound, 18.95 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $96.90 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N14 East coming out of the R114. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N12 East, we've got delays. This is between Voortrekker Road and the Yelands Interchange due to an earlier accident.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 19 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Hawks commander Gavin Jacob has been challenged at the Madlanga Commission over his decision to store a large consignment of drugs at an unsafe storage facility.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. It's time now for our Thursday dialogue.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's Walk the Talk on 702.
So, on our Thursday dialogue this morning, I want us to do something a little different. I want us to focus on the constitutional principles behind this Phala saga. As you know, the matter is now in court via the President's review application of that Section 89 report. The matter is also being ventilated in Parliament through an impeachment committee. But I want us to unpack and try simplify some of these legal and constitutional concepts which have been a topic of discussion in respect to this issue. Because there are many issues that we have discussed, and I think it will help you to also sort of revive your memory as we wait for that review application and the impeachment committee to begin. And who best to do this with than the man who was personally involved in all the EFF Zuma cases which led to the Phala judgment, but also even the Busisiwe Mkhwebane cases, which I suspect will be relevant even to the review application. Because remember, the Constitutional Court judgment on Phala is actually quite a logical culmination of constitutional principles that were already established in earlier cases, whether it's the Nkandla or the EFF impeachment case, and maybe even the UDM secret ballot judgment. So Advocate Dalim Mpofu is joining us in studio this morning. We'll try take it slow, but I want to give you an opportunity as well to ask questions. So if you've got questions you want to clarify around the legalities around this issue, please give us a call on 011-883-0702. You can send your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. Advocate Mpofu, thank you so much for coming to studio. Good morning.
Morning, Clement and your listeners. Good to see you again.
So I'm already receiving questions
That's good.
from the listeners before we even begin.
Yeah.
But first of all, a lot of us are wondering when this review application is going to be heard. Because is it going to be soon? Is it going to be much later? What would be the impact on the impeachment process? What do you know? Do you know anything about when we're going to hear this matter?
Well, Clement, it's your lucky day, because just as I was coming here, I got a call from one of my colleagues. Apparently, there was a meeting this morning of the parties. And the dates, well, I know your show is not for breaking news, but you can break this one. Yeah. The dates for the hearing of the review will be the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th of September. So that's what was agreed.
2nd and 3rd of September.
As I say, I got it from a secondary source because I'm not yet involved in the matter. There's a possibility that I might be involved at a later stage, which is why I cannot discuss the merits today. But you asked me to just assist the public to understand some and unpack some of these broader issues.
Okay, so on the 2nd and 3rd and 4th of September, this is when this review application is going to be heard. That's going to be fascinating. And then after that, we're going to be looking forward to the judgment, which, may have some really serious consequences about what happens then in Parliament. So let's start now with... So Arthur Fraser came out and made these allegations. And there are still certain things, I think discrepancies, because Arthur Fraser has an amount that he mentioned.
Right.
But the president said, no, the amount is much smaller than that. So let's start with when Arthur Fraser makes the allegations, because that's where everything then begins.
Thank you, Clement. Yes, I think that's a very important thing because, the news cycle moves so fast. Sometimes we forget actually what came before what. So the timeline very quickly is that on the 1st of June, I think, Arthur Fraser broke this into the public. You'll remember the next big thing that came was that the public protector then issued the famous 31 questions, I think later that month. And then the following day she was suspended by the president. The panel then, I think, took office around, in the second half of 2022 and released its report, which around the first week of December, the president then issued a review application against the panel report. And then Parliament voted still in December. You'll remember that the excuse or reason that was used in Parliament was that the matter is now under review, therefore that's why we're voting no, which they did.
So the president took it on review,
yes,
and then the members of Parliament used that as a justification.
Yes, I think it was Lamola, Minister of Justice, then, who said, well, we can't do anything, Parliament can't process it. And that's what they used. And then so they won the vote, so to speak.
And then the president withdrew
exactly.
that application.
Then he withdrew the application, I suppose, after this. But in any event, the Constitutional Court said that it could not entertain it as a matter of direct access much later. Okay. Then it was quiet. So we all thought that's probably the end of it. Until the EFF brought the matter to the Constitutional Court, and the ATM joined, which then became the famous Phala judgment. Everyone will remember the long wait, and took more than a year for the Constitutional Court to come to an outcome. And then on the 8th of May 2026, we then got the hearing, I think, was in November 2024. Then May 2026, we got the Phala judgment. So that was the end of part one, if you like. So part two then was the aftermath, which is what was then the president and Parliament going to do about the Phala judgment. And that has had two streams, if you like. In Parliament, it looks like they're going ahead as if nothing has happened, and they're moving with relative speed. And then the president has now taken the matter to the review court. And contrary to what was reported before, he did not, and I think wisely, if you ask me, he did not interdict.
Yeah.
He just brought a review application.
Though in his court papers, he seems to be suggesting that he may consider interdicting that process if it continues.
I know, but if I was a betting man, I would say that you'll never see that interdict application. But, I don't know what the strategy is.
Yeah.
I think that the president was banking, the way he phrased that section of his papers, he was banking on Parliament basically saying, look, we can't continue because this thing is in court again, saying no, it's sub judice and so on.
No.
But that's not going to happen. I can tell you why, because as you correctly pointed out, in the Mkhwebane matter, We did that more than once.
You tried that?
Yeah, more than once.
This is when she was facing impeachment.
The same, the only other impeachment case. You'll remember that we brought a case right at the beginning on the basis that we were challenging the panel report, and therefore the impeachment process should not start. And the Western Cape High Court, which is where this matter is incidentally, said no. And then much later, you'll remember now, during the process, you remember there was a recusal application that Ms. Mkhwebane had raised against the chairperson, Mr. Janki, and another guy who was married to the complainant from the DA and so on. And then we went to court again to say, look, there's now this recusal. It's actually more serious because the chairperson might be recused. Therefore, they should stop. The court again said, no, they can continue.
The impeachment process.
And by the way, and every time Parliament's legal advice was, unless if you can bring an interdict order, we're going to continue.
Yeah.
So it's unlikely. Based on the Zuma cases and the Mkhwebane cases, ironically, an interdict will probably not succeed.
Will not succeed. Okay, let's look at, because I actually went and printed my old notes after the independent panel report. When that report was made public, I went and I read it and I put notes down about what some of the key matters were. I mean, and I want us to go slow by slow with them. I mean, there's the question that they asked themselves, that independent panel, on whether the president engaged in paid work.
Yes.
Because if you remember, the public protector's report on this matter said, well, not really. It depends on how you read, the law. But the public protector said, no, the president was not engaged in paid work. It was just like he has financial interests.
Yeah. Well, you see, the panel, in a nutshell, considered the matter from the point of view of Section 96 of the Constitution. You'll remember that's the same section that was invoked in the Nkandla matter, which is that you can't, put yourself in a situation where there's a risk of a conflict.
Yes.
That's the broad, I think it's 96 2C. So you're quite right. So the finding, one of the prima facie findings they made was that, yes, indeed. But you'll also remember that the president said at the Pulukwane ANC thing that, I sell buffalo, or I sell animals, something like that. And the money was there for that reason. Yeah. So I suppose that's what they meant when they said there was a prima facie case.
Yeah.
But the more important, the two other important aspects, Clement. One was the issue that they said he did not report the matter to the police. And that's actually, to me, it's a much more serious issue than even these constitutional issues about Parliament and the oath of office and all that. Remember that
that's under PRECA, right? The
under PRECA, yes. Section 34 of PRECA, yeah.
34(1)B.
Yes, and I think that's what confuses most people. But, and it's important, I think, to explain to the public what that means, because people legitimately, if you're a lay person, you'll say, well, but how can he be the criminal now? Because it's his money that was stolen, which is true. So what do you mean he must be charged? Yeah, you obviously must charge. Somebody can come to my house and steal my car, and then I must be charged. Yeah. So at face value, it looks like that. But no, PRECA says that if you are, if more than 100,000 rand is stolen from you and you are a person in authority, then if you don't report it, that is a crime on its own. The intention for that legislation is obviously to stop money laundering and those kinds of things, or people making false claims about a theft that hasn't happened and all that. But so that's the most serious finding, as far as I'm concerned, that the panel made. Yeah.
But then, because the president, I'm trying to remember what the public protector said here. And I think the public protector said, having considered the response of Mr. Zungula, the public protector remains of the view that the contention that the president was the only person as a member as a member of the executive or someone in authority, to report a crime as directed by Section 34.1 of PRECA, it is not supported by a proper reading of the relevant section, and that both there are two cases that the public protector mentions and says there are two people who were persons of authority that were mandated to report the theft as envisaged in Section 34.4. So, meaning if it's the farm manager who was on duty at the time that this crime occurred, the responsibility is on them to report that, and not so much the president or anyone who may own that farm.
You're right. That was the logic. Look, that logic will be tested or not tested if the public protector's report is reviewed in court. But the question, I suppose, that it raises is the following. Okay, let's assume you and I are both persons in authority. Then you can't then say, just because Clement maybe was present at that time, then Dali should be absolved. You understand? At worst, you must say both of us must answer as to why we didn't report, and I think that's where the panel was coming from.
But also, if I own a farm and you're a manager and there was a crime that occurred and you didn't report it, I mean, the buck stops with me, and I would ask if the farm manager, and like, what's going on? There's so much money that was stolen and the matter is not reported.
Absolutely.
And then I take it upon myself because clearly I've been failed by one of my employees.
No, it's true. I mean, it's the same as, to simplify it, let's go to my example of the car. If somebody steals my car at my house now, and there's somebody there who's looking after the house, when I come back, I'm not going to say, well, why didn't you go to the police? If that person didn't go, I'll go. If they did go, then that's fine. So in other words, both of us, and you're quite right, I would think that the owner of the place probably has a bigger responsibility. But you see, that's another confusing thing, Clement. You and I can argue these things, but it doesn't matter. Let's say maybe the president has a very good reason why he didn't go to the police. And that's where the confusion about the terminology comes. When the panel says there's a prima facie case, they're not saying he's guilty or he must go to jail now and do not pass begin. They're simply saying the answers, like this debate you and I have had, don't check out, and let the police investigate or let him be charged. And then when he's charged, he might come up with a very perfect answer to your questions and my questions. That's what prima facie really means. It means, in simple language, is there a case to answer on these facts that we have? Clement is in the studio. I leave my phone here. I come back, the phone is gone, and the only person who was here was Clement. Is there a prima facie case? Yes. But Clement might have a perfect answer to say, no, there's another window, or someone else could have come, or whatever. But you can't run away from the fact that there's a prima facie case. If I have a gun and a smoking gun and somebody's dead in front of me, the chances are that I shot them, but I might not have.
The president, I think the public protector in her report said, well, he reported the matter to his head of security. Shouldn't that be sufficient under PRECA? Because, I mean, what do we expect? That the head of state is going to just walk into a police station and say, I'm here to open a case? Does that happen?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and again, that's why I'm saying the president might well have good answers. He might say, look, I didn't want to go myself, so I asked Rode to go. But it raises the other question. If you see, that becomes now what you call a self-defeating argument. Because if he says, look, I'm the head of state, I was not going to go, then the public protector is wrong. Because the other guy, Mr. Ndlovu, I think, who was in charge of the farm, is not a head of state. So why didn't he go?
Yeah, I mean, that for me is why didn't Mr. Ndlovu go? And when you realize that the farm manager himself didn't open the case, what did you do about it? It's a bit weird there. Okay, so we've spoken about whether or not the president was engaged in paid work or exposed himself to risk. In fact, I did get that quote of what he said. I think he was you said he was in Limpopo. In Polokwane. Yeah, and he was talking about, I'll find it, but I had it here on my notes where he was talking about just what he is involved in this business.
Yes.
And the public protector used that to try and explain that, well, this firm was not even making money. It was making losses. But the independent panel says it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter that the firm was experiencing some losses in finances. The point is you are linked to the financial interests that are attached to this
Absolutely.
firm.
You can't say, if the law says you mustn't be involved in a business, you can't say, well, that will be wrong only if we are making a profit. But if we are making a loss, then no, it's not. I mean, surely that.
Okay. I want us to go to some listeners now who've got a few questions for you. Please put on your headphones. 011-883-0702. So as I said earlier on, I've invited Advocate Dalimpofu because he was personally involved in these EFF Zuma cases, which led to the Phala judgment. As I said, when you look at that Constitutional Court judgment, it's actually a logical culmination of constitutional principles that were already established in cases that he's been involved in. So if you've got questions about this case, something you need clarity on, 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApp's on 0727021702. Dumisani, let's start with you. You're calling us from Germiston. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm all right, man. What's your question?
I want to ask Mr. Mpofu. Can Judge Sandile Ngobo submit his testimony to the court when President making a review against this matter, or can Judge Ngobo appear in court to defend his findings, or can he appeal? Let's say the court agree with the president to review the case. Can Judge Ngobo appeal the judgment?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dumisani. That's an important question because, in fact, what the EFF position has been is the Speaker of Parliament, because she's the custodian of the Section 89 report. She must join the application and go and defend it as the president reviews it. What do you think here? Because, Sandile Ngobo was appointed and hired by Parliament, right?
Yeah.
It's not like his report.
Yeah. Look, that's a very good question, and it explains another confusing thing. Yes, it's not his report. The panel was appointed by Parliament, and in law there's a concept called functus officio. So that means they are done. So they can't, even if, let's say, for example, they found that there was some mistake or something, there's nothing they can do. They are out of it now. But the Dumisani's question is important for the following. The two aspects. One, I can tell you as a matter of fact that Judge Ngobo, in this matter now, that this review application, Judge Ngobo has already indicated, because remember, the case is against him or his panel. So the three members of the panel are cited. But as expected, lawyers would have expected that they've already indicated that they're not going to take part in the so they'll abide. That's what lawyers say. They'll abide the outcome. Okay. So in other words, they're leaving it in the hands of the court. And that's nothing strange there. Typically, that's what people do if they are in that kind of independent position. So definitely not going to participate in court on the second or third and say, no, I'm here to defend my report and all that. Number one. Number two, which is Dumisani's point, is whether in any event they're going to be expected to submit documents. And the answer to that question is yes. Because the decision maker is the panel. So generally, in terms of Rule 53 of the rules of the court, the decision maker has to give the record of the decision. In other words, what did you take into account, the evidence, and so on. That's probably already part of that. Remember, he handed that big thing to the speaker, that big bundle of documents. It might well be that all that evidence is there, but the short answer is yes, they are expected to submit the record. And in fact, in the meeting that took place this morning with the Judge President of Cape Town, I understand that the timelines that were given for the parties to exchange their various documents, including the submission of the record, I think sometime later this month.
Okay. But who submits that record then that contains also the reasoning of the independent panel? Is it the speaker, or how does it work? Is it Sandile Ngobe as the chair of that panel?
Yes, it should be the panel, but the panel might simply say, as I suspect, we gave everything to the speaker, and therefore the speaker will supply the record. But somebody between those two entities. So the general rule is that it's the decision maker. But in this case, they might say, just get it, or we handed everything. There's nothing we're holding, because there's no such, they don't have an office. It's not like a decision made by a department of government where you'll find documents and so on.
Gotcha.
It was an ad hoc, which means a temporary structure.
Okay. 11:31. Time for the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. I'll come to more of your calls and WhatsApps as we continue this conversation with Advocate Dali Mpofu, trying to explain the constitutional principles behind this Phala saga. Bali has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Bali, good morning. I see Brown Mokhotsi is going to remain in jail.
That's correct, Clement. A very good morning. Self-proclaimed political fixer Brown Mokhotsi has been denied bail. Mokhotsi appeared in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court this morning, where judgment was delivered. He was arrested last month, shortly after his testimony at the Madlanga Commission. He is accused of staging an assassination attempt on his own life in Vosloorus last year. Hawks commander Gavin Jacob has been challenged at the Madlanga Commission over his decision to store a large consignment of drugs at an unsafe storage facility where they were later stolen. Jacob, head of the Hawks' Serious Organised Crime Investigation Unit in Durban, has been testifying at the Commission about the June 2021 drug bust at the Isipingo depot in Durban. And in the Eastern Cape, the R102 between Gqeberha and Jeffreys Bay has been closed off to traffic due to rockfalls and poor visibility. It comes as heavy rain continues to batter parts of the province. The extreme conditions have hampered the recent recovery work from last month's disruptive weather pattern. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, traveling in Lanseria, we've got a major accident seen on the N14 East. It happened after Malibongo Drive is causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. I'd rather you use Malibongo Drive through Cosmos City to try and avoid that backlog. While traveling in El Dorado Park, particularly on the Golden Highway, we've got roadworks causing delays between Union Avenue and the N12 exit. There's also queuing traffic reported on the M2 West heading towards Amalgam between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road out in Centurion. We still have got those delays on the R55 towards Wieta Road. Please be on the lookout there. Try to use the N14 South towards areas like Littleton. More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Hi, this is Michael Owen, Hollywood Bets brand ambassador. Being a champion, I know the best performances come from making the right decisions on and off the pitch. Enjoy the game, enjoy the excitement, but play responsibly. Gambling responsibly is about staying in control so you can enjoy it your way. If you or someone you know needs support, help is always available. Call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counselling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
20% off all Pocket Spring mattresses. Invest in your health with a good night's sleep from Dial-A-Bed. Pocket Springs provide head-to-toe support with reduced partner movement, which means better sleep for everyone. Shop our Pocket Springs in-store or online today for your 20% off. Plus, get next-day delivery on our best sellers. Dial-A-Bed. Sleep for life.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct to give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
What if the problem you faced became the business that changed everything? That's what Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is all about, with this year's theme, My Pain, My Purpose, My Solution. We're calling on all small businesses that turned real challenges into powerful ideas. You could win 200,000 Rand cash, plus mentorship, business support, and tools to help you grow sustainably. Enter the Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 now at primemediaplus.com or igniteyourbusiness.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's walk the talk on 702.
It's 24 minutes now before 12 o'clock. We've got Advocate Dalimpofu in studio with us this morning, and I want to give you an opportunity to also ask some questions if you need some constitutional or legal clarity on this Phala matter or the independent panel's report. You can call us on 011-883-0702. Let's start now with Mike, who's calling us from Protea Glen. Mike, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clement.
Hey, man. Good. How are you doing?
Good. I advocate Mpofu.
Hello, Mike.
Yes. Just one question. Perhaps maybe you can correct my understanding. My view was that Sandile Ngcobo's primary objective with regards to the Phala matter was to test the veracity of the statement against that were made against the president, but not to express his opinion. My view is that he erred the minute where he said the president has a case to answer without affording him the opportunity to come and present his case. So, in my understanding, purely on those grounds, this thing can be easily overturned, because here's somebody who's accused or allegedly to have done something. They've never presented a case, yet somebody makes a statement and say there's a case to answer. I think he overstepped.
Yeah, before the advocate response, Mike, so I was actually looking at prima facie and what it means. It's a Latin term, and it means at first sight.
Yes.
Yeah, which is very important to note. Just note that for a moment. Now, my question to you, Mike, would be that you are probably asking the panel to do an impossible task, because how does the panel determine sufficient evidence exists when it's deprived of the usual tools to test evidence? Because it can't hear even oral evidence or cross-examine witnesses or even call for further documentary information. So, but what they can do is, based on the document before us right now, at first sight, what we're seeing is something is fishy here. We're not saying he's guilty. We're not saying he's not guilty, but all we can say at first sight is something is fishy. So let's go and probe this further with a body that is going to have more powers that we have. Do you get that?
No, I get it. I get it 100%. But then it speaks to the terms of reference for Sandile's Ngcobo inquiry. Then it should have said, guys, before I make an announcement, please amend these terms, because you are saying it's tantamount of saying, tell the security guard, stand at the door and fleece people. He fleeces people and then says, yeah, but that guy, I suspect he's carrying something. But then it's either he's carrying or he's not. But if you suspect, you must follow your terms of reference. If you can't prove it with some evidential proof, I hear your prima facie definition. But he's now casting suspicions on a president on something that he never even was afforded an opportunity to talk to.
But then let me get the advocate to come, because based on the information, let me call it that was presented before him, which is all they made available to him, he says, well, I'm the expert you called for help, and I can tell you, as an expert with these fellow incredible legal gurus, we can tell you that based on this information you've given us, we find that something is fishy here. And also, that's not apportioning blame. But advocate, your response to Mike's question?
No, thank you, Clement. Well, I'll give you two responses. Firstly, I can't comment on the merits or demerits of the case, as I say, because
you may be involved or not.
In the case, yeah. So I can't say, who's likely to succeed or is the president's argument strong or not. All I can do is to just assist Mike to understand the concepts. Firstly, it's not true that the president was not given an opportunity. The panel would have asked him to make his submissions, and I think in his affidavit he says he did. All he's saying, he's not saying he was not given an opportunity. He says they didn't take into account this and that or whatever in his answers, which is fair enough. But so that's the first thing. The second thing is is this issue of prima facie. You see, Mike, the way you must look at it is the stages of proof. So, for example, if Clement steals my phone here, I go to the police station and I say, look, Clement stole my phone. They say, where? I say, no, it was a full hall of 1,000 people. Then they say, but why are you saying it was Clement? So already they think, nah, this thing is a bit fishy. And then they investigate. And they might find that there's something to be investigated. Then it goes to the NPA. The NPA again looks at it. And then it might look at it and say, okay, I know it went past the police, but there's no case here. And there's no prima facie case. In other words, there's not even something to prosecute. Or the prosecutor might say, yeah, no, this looks suspicious. Maybe Clement did. And then it goes to court. The court is not going to say, well, because the NPA thought there was something fishy, they're still going to investigate it. And Clement might still be found not guilty by the court. So that's how it works. It's the steps. So the Ngobo panel says there's prima facie evidence, but they're not condemning the man. If they were condemning the man, then why are we having an inquiry? We're having an inquiry simply because to test that. And the inquiry might find that actually the panel got it wrong. But they're not going to say, well, why did you panel pass it? Because the panel uses a different standard. It just says at face value. Let's take out the Latin. It says at face value, this looks fishy. Yeah. So that's exactly what happened. Even in the Mkhwebane case, there was a panel of 3 chaired by Judge Nkabinde. They made their report, a very extensive report, and they said there's prima facie evidence or information. And then
move it to the committee to test.
Yes. Even at the committee, by the way, there are 2 stages. The speaker, I think, has to look at the charges themselves and see if they make sense, even before the committee starts. So it's those kinds of stages. And then even if the inquiry says is guilty, it still has to go to Parliament. And then Parliament will vote.
And it may end up in court even after the Parliament is voted. Mike, does that satisfy you, or are you still...
No, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike. But I think that's an important question Mike asked, because if you remember, Advocate, in court, during this Pala matter, when it was being ventilated, there was a big discussion, and the justices were asking Advocate Ngukai Toby about, sufficient evidence versus prima facie. Like, is there even a difference? Because they were trying to argue there is.
Big difference.
And I remember thinking when I was listening to the arguments, I thought, then Parliament maybe then was the wrong party here in saying to the panel, go and figure out whether there's sufficient evidence that exists, and maybe they should have just been clear from the beginning. But the independent panel didn't say sufficient. They said prima facie. At face value, this is what we find.
Absolutely. And there's no difference between the two. And I think that you can infer, although the Concord didn't specifically deal with it, but it was debated a lot. You can infer that they didn't buy that story, because if they had bought it, they wouldn't have said it must be referred to the committee. So, it was lawyering really more than anything else. So the issue, that's why I'm saying let's forget the concepts. Is it sufficient? Is it prima facie? Just ask yourself, as a person in the street, does this story check out? Or are there more questions than answers? Just at that level. That's all. That's what prima facie really means.
That's what it means.
At face value.
For me, one of the wildest things that I still can't understand is how does a guy, a foreigner, come into the country doesn't declare money, goes straight to the president's farm, buys cattle that he doesn't even come to collect, that the president doesn't even deliver. Come on, guys. Use your logic now. Just lose your logic. Do you go into Nike and buy an expensive shoe and then you leave? You don't care whether Nike is going to deliver it. You don't make arrangements to come back and collect the shoe, but you've paid it in cash. How does that make sense?
Well, as I say,
Yeah,
that's what the panel was asking as well.
And I'm just trying to say to the listener, just use your logic on that.
Absolutely.
On its own.
Don't have to be
Forget
a
politics and anything else.
Or law.
Yeah, or the law. Just think about it in that way. And I had the president on the show, in 2022, and I asked him, President, it doesn't make sense. And I asked him, so will you pay back the money? Because clearly this guy paid for something he didn't collect, that you didn't deliver. And he said, no, we are going to pay back the money. And I asked his spokesperson, Vincent, has he paid back the money? I asked him, Vincent, a month ago. And Vincent said, I'll have to go check. I guess he's still checking. That was probably a month ago when I asked that question. That is just weird. Let's go to some more WhatsApps on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Clement. Morning, Vali here. Well, I'd like you to ask Mr. Darin Pofu what I'm mostly concerned about and worried about around to find out. It's not about whether he went to go and made a case. Where does the money come from? Because that is foreign currency. And foreign currency, before it can be used in this country, it must be declared to SARS or the Reserve Bank. You can't simply get foreign currency and buy with it any goods in this country. So where does the money come from? And secondly, the person that came out and said it's his money, he never came and took the buffaloes. So what happened to that money? Let's just get it from there. I just need to get clarity on that.
I mean, do you even have an answer to that? You
wouldn't. The answer is simple. The mere fact that the listeners are asking these questions, that is the answer. Because then what do you expect the panel to have done? Because the panel then also had the same questions.
And they didn't have answers to those questions.
That's really the gist. So one doesn't have to answer those questions. And Philly is right about one thing. We know, you see, you might not know all the facts of what happened. I mean, nobody knows. But the question is, the questions are like this. So the money, the foreign currency must be declared in the hands of Mr. Wazam or whatever his name is, the guy from Sudan. Yeah. And if so, that's the one thing. So let's say some foreigner comes to my place and gives me dollars or pounds. That foreigner is supposed to have declared it when they come into OR term.
Which he didn't. SARS has already confirmed
that he didn't do that. But leave Mr. whatever his name is. Then me now, the guy is gone. I've got now these dollars. So I must also now declare to SARS as the person who has received the money, because I cannot deal in other. The reason why we call the rand legal tender is because that's the currency that is used in this country. So I must either go and exchange it or declare it myself. So those are the questions. But the president says he's got the answers. And he says he gave the panel the answers. He doesn't know what their problem is. So that is what he's now going to go to court and convince the court that the panel, from what he told the panel, should have said, we don't know why everyone is making noise about this. This and this and this and this. So he says he gave those answers. Now, that's why the first question from Dumsan is important, because the record, which will now go to court, will also show what the president must have submitted to the panel, so that we can see if it answered all these questions that the listeners are asking.
And we'll see if it's also in line with what he told the public protector.
Absolutely.
Because
and
we
what
have
he
an
told
idea
the ANC people in Polokwane. If it all, if that is the case, then the president will succeed in his review, because the court will then say, well, this panel was unfair. But if that information and all those pieces don't work out, then the court will say, well, the panel was justified not to say he's guilty, but to
say let's probe further.
That's all.
It's 10 minutes before 12.
Ach, Barry, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. My life has taken a hard left at career goals.
It's not your life that's turning, bro. It's your steering.
My steering?
Your car's pulling left like your decisions. Go get top quality mileage steering parts from Goldwagen. That will set you straight.
Wait, I feel aligned.
It's just your steering that needed direction. Goldwagen. Keep on driving.
Vandalism of water infrastructure affects everyone. Theft and damage to pipes, meters, valves, reservoirs, and other critical systems can lead to outages, low pressure, water losses, sewer spillages, and costly repairs that impact communities across the city. Johannesburg Water urges residents to help protect public infrastructure by reporting vandalism, theft, or suspicious activity. Protecting infrastructure is a shared responsibility and helps ensure reliable water services. To report issues, call 011 688 1699. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water.
Switching to Outsurance Business Insurance was a quick process. I saved a lot of money.
Outsurance Business Insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium when you switch? For boutique hotels, catering companies, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babise bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babise bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
The Dialogue with Clement Manyathela.
It's not just another roundtable discussion.
Let's walk the talk on 702.
7 minutes before 12 o'clock. We are quickly running out of time, so I want to take a few more questions from you. Do we have more WhatsApps? All right, there's one. Let's listen to that, and then I've got some text here that I'll read to Advocate Dalimpof.
Morning, Clement and the team and your guest. I just want to understand from a lay person, so with Arthur Fraser, because the rest of the process is taking place. So with Arthur Fraser, because he knew about the crime for so long and it didn't say anything, and then eventually he did say something. Like, what does the law say about that? Because would it be okay with me and you as normal people if we know a crime happened and then maybe 4 months later, or say maybe 8 months later, and say there's a crime that happened somewhere, and then we just sat and didn't say anything? So I just want to understand that part, because considering that the position that he also held at that time, it didn't seem like it was he like the position that he held and the seeing that the crime happened. So what is that, if he can clarify for us?
Good question. Is he not implicated? I don't remember him telling us when he was made aware. So I don't remember him saying, when I was the director of State Security Agency, this is when it came to me, because you are required by law, right? If you know of any possible corruption or fraud, you have to report it.
Absolutely. No, that's correct. You have to, and he did. I mean, he went to report it to the police. As you say, we don't know how long it took him before acquiring the information and giving it to the police. But the broad answer is that it goes to what the caller calls the duty. That's a very good issue. If you are an official in government or any other responsible position, you have a duty. Okay, let's put it like this. Generally, you are not your brother's keeper, so to speak. So if I see Clement doing something wrong here, I may go to the police, but if I don't, I don't. I have no duty to do so. However, if you are a person who has a particular office, let's say I'm a policeman, then I see that happening and I turn a blind eye. Now then I have a legal duty to do something, either to report or act. Yeah. So it's a relative thing. But in the case of Arthur Fraser, it would depend whether he acquired that information when he was still, when he had those legal duties. But most importantly is what Clement is saying, how long. We don't know how long. He might have had the information a week before, a year before.
Day before we wouldn't really know. Just the last one from Teleformer, who says, Clement, seeing that Ramaphosa wants to buy time by reviewing the panel report, is it not wise for Parliament then to simply commission another report which covers all identified loopholes, thereby saving time and protracted court appeals? No. That's what
I can assure you now. I can tell you now that report, even before it starts, it's going to be challenged in court.
Yeah,
so,
it would.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it says. Even if it says, as long as it doesn't say there is no prima facie case, we now are satisfied that the money just found itself in the couch, and there's nothing, absolutely no question. With the people who went to Namibia, they were just going there on a tour, and the people who were allegedly beaten up at the farm, it's because they were just having a fight, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Advocate Dalimpofu, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming through.
Perfect.
3 minutes before 12.
I'm Samela Kelpoy, an actress and a mum. Do you know what's in your cupboard? I've been trying to be intentional about the food I buy and keep in my cupboard. Unhealthy packaged foods can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and diabetes. Support front-of-package warning labels on unhealthy packaged foods, high in saturated fat, sugar, and salt. Join me. Sign the petition on healer.org. That's HEALA.org.
Mzansi, Takealot's senior cards, and boy have you been shopping. To say thank you for all your support, we're bringing you the Thanks a Lot sale. Get up to 60% off must-have beauty, sports gear, latest tech, TV and appliances, everyday essentials, toys and more. To know you is to spoil you. Shop the Take a Lot Thanks a Lot sale from 25 May to 7 June.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Coming up
on the Midday Report.
Coming up next, the Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Clem. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Brown Mahotsi has been denied bail.
Great.
He's devastated. He does look very upset. We are going to keep looking at this drugs bust and the dodgy dealings in the spotlight at the Madlanga Commission. More testimony continuing from yesterday. We'll speak to the police. NatJoint's having a briefing yesterday on preparedness amidst growing anti-foreigner unrest. So they'll speak to us about that situation. There's flooding again in parts of the Eastern and Western Cape, schools being affected. We'll get the latest on that. And it's a Thursday, and our book of the week is from vet Caitlin Vinegar. It's called Unleashed, a really, really wonderful book.
All right, looking forward to the show, the Midday Report, up next after the news at 12 with Mandy Wiener. Thank you for listening to the Thursday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. Back again tomorrow between 9 and 12. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Alleged political fixer Brown Mahotsi will remain behind bars after the Johannesburg Magistrates Court denied him bail. Mahotsi has spent 3 weeks in custody since his arrest immediately after testifying before the Madlanga Commission. He is accused of staging an assassination attempt on his own life in Vosloorus in November last year. He faces charges including perjury, defeating the ends of justice and the unlawful possession of a firearm. The court found that